So this is going to be the first edition of the NoScare podcast, sports edition, NFL episode, and we have. Wait, what do you guys want me to call you? Do you want me to call you by your real names, or?
Yeah.
That's fine.
All right, we got Terry and we got Dez and we got me, Riz. So so we'll get this started off, and the first topic of interest will be the NFL season so far. So we're gonna go in order of NFC first and then AFC next, and I guess we could start off with you, Terry. So who are your three favorite teams to make it to the Super Bowl from the NFC?
Well, obviously, it's painful that it's not your team, but if you had to put something on paper, I would say right now, in the current state of this week, the Green Bay Packers have to be, and the primary reason is due to health. Health, obviously, experienced staff, Aaron Rodgers and whatnot, and they had the easiest finishing path of the season.
Yeah.
Right now, and then number two, I'll put the Los Angeles Rams because I did not realize how good that defense finally is after the past 2 years. Like they had, Aaron Donald this, but their defense allows 30 plus points a game. And I would say probably number three has to be the New Orleans Saints, and that one pains me. And that's just due to they finally have a supporting cast that it doesn't depend on them scoring 30 plus points a game. Obviously, they got exposed by Philly somehow, but yeah, those are the three teams right now that are our favorite. And of course, it goes without saying that none of those teams are in the NFC East. So
yeah, literally.
Yeah. So those are my top three.
Obligatory. Fuck Drew Brees.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually have the same exact list as you in the exact same order. What about you, Des? What's your list?
My list is coming out of the NFC is actually, it's the same team. As far as like as the season went on, honestly, you could have made a attempt at Seattle being above the Rams.
But they've been struggling lately though.
Because their defense is starting to show.
Their O-line too.
Yeah, like basically over the course of the year, it's the battle of attrition with Seattle. It's at the beginning of the season, Russell Wilson could probably still be in the MVP conversation. Well, that's a different thing. But when it goes to just overall team stats, you could have made an argument for Seattle, but their lack of defense at the beginning of the season was overshadowed by the fact that they were able to score
35 plus points a game.
35 plus points a game. So, with that being said, and the later in the season, the Rams defense, just looking at the defense right now, the Rams and the Saints are the top two as far as yards allowed in defense.
The Rams are actually the best defense in the league right now.
Yeah, they're the best defense in the league. Like they had a couple bumbles and stumbles as far as getting their offense going, which is why they stumbled out the gate so much. And another honorable mention: San Francisco still has a top 5 defense, but we all know, they have no offense, and literally their team,
even with
even with the amount of injuries that they have across their defensive player of the year last year went out the first game of the season. And they still managed to have a top 5 defense, but literally they just have no consistency on offense, especially after what happened last season.
No consistency. So, they have no offense right now.
They have no offense.
You gotta have the offense first to get the consistency.
Right. So the top 3 teams are still gonna be Green Bay Packers with their health and being just overall consistency. They may not have the shutdown defense, but they've been consistent with being opportunistic, with taking advantage of turnovers and playing opportunistic on offense. Like if you know that you're going against another high-powered offensive team, okay, they can also run the ball really well and just prevent the other team from getting a lot of offensive opportunities.
Yeah, but as you've seen, though, defense kind of always outshines the offenses in the playoffs. So I feel like
it really does.
You know what I mean?
But as of right now, up until this point, Green Bay has been good on both sides of the ball. The Saints have been really good, minus getting but I'm thinking about it. Green Bay beat the Saints early in the season,
right?
Week 3. So the Saints have basically had to turn to their defense to be able to score, had
Mm-hmm.
able to be enough of a game manager to where their
Mm-hmm.
defense can be able to hold on into games. Now,
Yeah.
can like this next coming week playing against Kansas City, a team that's been, basically you could say that they're the Saints of the West
Mm-hmm.
or the Saints of the AFC, but obviously they're able to score more points.
I mean, my only question with the Saints would be like, can Taysom Hill run the offense and not have it catered to him? Because it's the same issue Lamar Jackson ran into last year, where
Yeah.
he was so one dimensional. Like, okay, don't get me wrong, he was throwing touchdowns, but if we're being completely honest, when push comes to shove, he's a very one dimensional quarterback. He's looking to run, and Taysom Hill
Yeah.
is in the same boat.
Yeah. It's basically stack the box and make you beat him with his arm.
So far, yeah, the
But
Saints' offense has had been tailored for
Yeah.
Taysom Hill. Just if you look at all the games leading up to Drew Brees' injury, you look who was involved the most: Alvin Kamara.
Exactly.
Obviously, since he's and they know that his arm strength has dwindled, so you never saw him taking that many shots, if ever. And of course,
Right.
Saints fans were complaining about that. Now Taysom Hill in here, he got a little arm. Let's give him credit for that. But the problem is that those shots aren't always available, and for some reason he is just blind to Alvin Kamara so much that he is not hitting him. And yeah, you saw the offensive production
Yeah.
drop down. And then yes, he does give that X factor. He will run, tuck and run. Drew Brees will never tuck and run. No one
Exactly.
ever has to worry about that. But it has stifled that chemistry they had. And even when you look at before, remember Michael Thomas was out
Right.
for like I think one game before as Taysom came in. Even with Michael Thomas coming in, even he's not fully involved in the offense just yet. It's been more Jared Cook and getting the ground game up going, which they can get it going. But if it's time to open up, Taysom Hill's ball security is just.
Right.
I mean, I'm not mad at that, but that is a question. And again, if you need him to sling the rock,
Yeah. You need to
efficiently
drive the ball for an end game situation. It's just not going to happen.
It's lots of it. And I will give 2 wild cards since I know Diz hasn't mentioned it.
Right.
Washington been playing some damn good football.
Washington, that defense has been
they've
so underrated all year.
yeah, they have a top 5 defense.
Yeah, they do.
It's funny because five teams, 4 of the 5 teams that are in the top 5 defense are in the NFC.
Yeah.
It's
And sadly 2 of them aren't even in the playoffs, which is Washington and San Francisco.
Chicago's kind of in there too.
I think Chicago's a top.
I think.
well, Washington's in they're NFC East leader right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so-
Washington's in the
yeah,
playoffs.
you're right. So they can, if they can win. If they can win out, because the Giants were making a come up, they were on a 4-game win streak, then they kind of slid.
They're 1 game back. They're only 1 game back, so it's definitely tight.
And it's funny because the bottom 2 teams who nobody thought would win the division are fighting for winning the division.
Right.
Because nobody expected the Washington or the Giants to make it. Everybody thought it was going to be between Dallas and Philly. But I mean, Philly can make a comeback depending on what Jalen Hurts does to that offense. But I mean, as of right now, I mean, Alex Smith, he's a veteran. He's a veteran quarterback. He knows he's been in the playoffs before. He's a good game manager. He knows to make the right football play, the right decision. He knows how to run an offense efficiently enough. And Washington's defense with what's that guy they drafted? Chase Young.
That guy.
Yeah, that man's balling right now.
He's a beast.
So I mean, I feel, and that's gonna get later. That's going into later to my dark horse team.
Yeah, that's actually what we're gonna transition to because we're talking about it right now. So dark horse team.
Dark horse team in the playoffs
for the NFC. For the NFC.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You can go first. Des.
All right, so my dark horse team in the NFC would probably be Washington. They host a playoff game, even though they're not the best team. Like if we were to, let me see, if we were to look at the standings as of right now
for Washington.
I
think with the way the wild card is working this year, there's 3 teams in the wild card. Are they doing? I don't know if you guys know. Are they doing the top 2 teams bye weeks, or is it just
No,
one?
it's just the number 1 seed has a bye week. So if
if
they were
that's
to
the case, they're playing Seattle.
that Washington would no. So the first would play
New Orleans
second
would if it
play.
ended today. New Orleans would play Arizona. Tampa Bay would play the Rams, and Washington would play
Washington would play
Seattle.
Yeah. So I think Washington can pull that upset.
You think
I
so?
mean, Washington literally got upset by the Giants at home. So what makes you think that? Not to mention, Seattle has to come to Washington and play up there in DC.
Yeah.
Against a stingy defense.
Right.
A super stingy defense that will give Russell Wilson a lot of fits.
It depends
And
on who
everybody
the quarterback is too. I feel is it going to be Alex Smith? I know Alex Smith got hurt, so is it going to be what's his name? Fucking Haskins. Is it going to be Haskins or Alex?
If it's Haskins, they're losing. If it's Haskins, they're losing.
They're going to lose.
Haskins proved that playing 12 games in college is not enough to go from that to the NFL.
He's what's his name from the Raiders? He's 2.0.
David Carr.
Jamarcus Russell. Jamarcus Russell.
Oh God.
Yeah, without the Big Macs. That's all he is.
That dude is horrible.
Yes,
but I agree with you that I think if Alex Smith is healthy, I could.
If Alex Smith is healthy enough, they can make a run for it.
Yeah, my dark horse team actually is not Washington, and the reason why I say not Washington because everyone knows that defense is great,
right?
But at the same time, they do know it's going to live and die depending on which quarterback is healthy because that team
is very true.
It's mixed. My dark horse team is going to be Arizona. Now, because right now, obviously they're still in build mode. They're still in rebuild mode. Like they got one more season and give them a good draft, and I think they will be legitimate. But you would see who they would have to go by. Their first match, if the playoffs would start today, would be the Saints. Would be the Saints. I think Kyler Murray. So Kyler Murray is basically what Russell Wilson was, say, 2-3 years ago. Yeah. Russell Wilson, you could definitely tell he has, he doesn't tuck and run as much anymore, but he makes enough plays that he won't lose the game. I don't think Kyler Murray has lost a game this year.
Yeah.
It's just been their defense hasn't been able to keep up with anyone.
Right.
But let's just say, first game, they get to play in the dome, so no weather elements, and he gets to go up against a Saints team that has never done anything to stop D. Hopkins in their history.
Yeah.
D. Hopkins feasts on that defense. Mind you, everyone knows their secondary. If you had to say the weak point of the Saints defense, it's going to be their secondary, right? D. Hop has no issues with that.
Yep.
Kyler Murray himself alone will extend plays enough to keep them active. And honestly, with the way that the Saints offense right now, because they said, Drew Brees came off IR today. Right? He is designated off, but he will not be starting this weekend against Kansas City, which also, mind you, that's going to be a win for Kansas City. So, for all intents and purposes right now, there's a possibility. Who do the Rams play? Oh, they play the Jets. Rams are going to be the number 2 seed at the end of this week. So, if you're talking about it's a divisional matchup with the Cardinals and the Rams, I mean, how divisional matchups go. That could be very interesting.
And thing about it, they split the series.
There you go. That's all I'll bring up that as well.
But you also have to remember the Rams are fucking horrible for the first 5
against
games
Arizona.
Of the year. Oh, but just in general in the year.
Yeah, the first 5 games you didn't know they didn't have an identity. The first half of the season, they had no identity. Like Jared, like that team looked like the shell of its former self. Like they played the Pats in the Super Bowl.
Throw, they can do anything. Yeah.
They couldn't do anything, and then they finally got it together. The more they got down the road, and honestly, I think people started. I think everybody just started building continuity. Like the team just everything started coming together, and they were able to string some wins together.
But the same thing you said about Arizona. Initially, in fact they got off to a faster start. Let me be honest. They got to a faster start, but as the season progressed, you got to think about it. Kyler Murray, this is his second year, his third year,
second year.
Second year. You still new head coach. You're talking about a Rams team. You've been to the Super Bowl. All right, you've been to the Super Bowl. You get the same quarterback, all that. So yes, so they I would say they have less excuses. so to speak.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. COVID, no preseason, so I understand that. But I think the Arizona Cardinals, mind you, like I said, with Washington being that other team, will be the team that could definitely make some noise. Because right now everyone's going to be focusing on who? The Saints, the Packers. That's pretty much your end of rap. That's it.
Yeah.
So but I think they'll be the ones to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a little bit of flack for this, and it might be because I'm a little biased, but I can't really count out Tampa Bay, bro. I can't count out Tampa Bay. Like the experience alone, and you gotta remember too, the entire year it's been nothing but distractions, right?
Yes.
Like Bruce Arians versus Tom Brady the same way it was Brady versus Belichick, and then you have Antonio Brown on the team. You have Mike Evans, probably demanding the ball, if we're being honest. Chris Godwin is in a reduced role. We got Leonard Fournette. So it's just been distraction. And they're still 8-5. They've been pretty consistent all year. That defense is better than I think anybody expected them to be. I didn't think the defense was that good.
Also, losing Vita Vea mid-season. Yeah. They lost one of their biggest pieces in defense. And not to mention a lot of the games, all of the games that they've lost have been looked under a microscope. First game of the season when they lost to the Saints,
it was a blowout.
Everybody, and the second game was even worse.
Yeah,
they didn't even score a touchdown.
Yeah, but then you saw the way they manhandled Green Bay, and then they were like, "Oh shit," you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. And then after and then the game that they played against Chicago, the game they lost against Chicago,
that was
Tom Brady.
Ugly. That looked ugly.
That was an ugly loss. Tom Brady didn't know what down it was.
Right, but then what it comes down to for me, you go back to what Terry was saying, right? So New Orleans is probably going to lose next week against KC, right? And the Rams are probably going to win against the Jets. So if that flip flops, the Bucks are playing the Saints. All right, and
I like it.
I can't discount Tom Brady in the playoffs, especially in a matchup like that.
And not to mention against Taysom Hill. He's like, I'm not going against Breeze.
Right. It's against Taysom Hill and a susceptible defense. Right.
Yeah.
I just can't see it not being upset.
The reason why I won't make him a dark horse is because they have Tom Brady. That's what you need.
Right.
Because not only that, they have a star-studded defense, front seven at least. I don't think that's a dark horse, but with that being said, the reason I'll write them off is you look at the last games that they lost, obviously with the Chiefs, Rams, and I think the Saints. I think they remember they went on this stretch where they lost 3 games out of 4 or something like that.
They were looking bad.
The reason being was because their run game just completely vanished. Ronald Jones, he just took some days off. When their run game gets on, they're hard to beat. Right. But when their run game is off and Brady has to really just
be the guy, right?
There.
Because remember he never did that. Had to do it in New England. He always had just at least a consistent. But when they don't have a run game, that's it. But I think the Bucks, they're not going to be one and done.
Right.
I think once you get the second round, I think that's when it gets a little dicey. But I think there is still the expectation that Tom Brady, full slate of players, they are a Super Bowl contender. So that's why I never
just because Tom Brady alone. But you gotta look at the talent alone makes them a contender. But I feel like the way it's kind of meshed together this year, I think most people have kind of written them off. Because we were talking about, Packers, Saints, Rams. Nobody's really mentioning the Bucks. Nobody, we talked about Washington. We talked about Arizona. We talked about Seattle. But nobody's talked about the Bucks. You know what I mean? So
they fell off a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
I think if they play New Orleans, they're gonna beat New Orleans. I don't know about the Rams, but I think if it works out the way we're predicting it, I think they beat New Orleans again.
I will say for the third time, I would definitely think the Bucks come in there with a lot more fire. And right now, the Saints are on a downturn right now.
They really
They're
are.
right now because the last couple of games, they all got high and mighty. Oh, look, they got number 2 defense. Well, you played a quarterbackless Broncos.
Yeah, exactly. They had a receiver at quarterback. What the fuck?
Here's the thing. Everyone knows when Drew Brees comes, not this week, but next week, they're going to put Drew Brees back in. They're taking him off.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think Drew Brees is going to pick up where he left off after having, 11 ribs snapped up?
But that's the thing, too, with him. He's kind of fell off the cliff recently, even before the injury.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Bucks front 7, they get after him.
Yeah.
And mind you, what if he takes another hit?
Yeah.
The Bucks ain't for nobody.
Yeah.
That could be really bad.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, because that'd be really bad.
Literally, and not to mention he's a smaller quarterback. He's not. Drew
Right.
Brees isn't a big dude.
That's the
Drew
thing with
Brees is
this.
what 5'11".
He's our height, yeah.
Who's our motherfucker? Shut up. But
Me and Terry. But no, even
but
that, like, I felt like they made a mistake putting Taysom Hill as the replacement. They should have put Jamarcus Russell in. He would fit better with what they're doing. Not Jamarcus Russell. Motherfucker, Jameis
Jameis
Winston. Yeah. He would have been a better fit.
Jamarcus Russell. Goddamn.
Jamarcus Russell. Yo, they're both black, right?
Same.
But no, but like I feel like they made a mistake with that, in my opinion.
I mean, they felt obligated. I feel like it was an obligatory thing because they paid him all that
3
money
years,
for a backup.
30 million.
Yeah, 3 years for 30 million for a Swiss Army knife, a dude that plays special.
Commodity. Yeah,
unproven commodity. So they kind of had to. They felt obligated. It was like, yeah, we paid him all this money.
Yeah,
we gotta put him out there.
Taysom
like
Hill
we gotta do
Sean
something.
Payton. I don't care what anybody says, bro. Like, why would you give 30 million to that? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But
it doesn't make sense.
Let's move on to the AFC now. So your top three contenders. Terry, you can go first with this one.
Well, I will say the AFC is a whole lot easier right now. I mean, a whole lot easier, but it's easy at the top. But when you get to the middle, oh my god, this one took me a minute.
I had a hard time picking a third team. Yeah,
the number one is going to be the Chiefs. Yes. I think that goes without saying. I don't buy all this nonsense. You have a whole team. You give them in the playoffs. Andy Reid. They're going to be scoring 40+ points. I mean, they're just playing with the league right now. I say the number two team right now for me is the Bills. The Bills. I like I said. Josh. I'm glad Josh Allen's not in the NFC. The kid is getting better. He is getting better. That defense, to me, their defense is just more ferocious.
Yeah.
When it comes to the pass rush, playing the deep, like what's their quarterback?
Tre'Davious White.
They have
Josh Norman there too.
Kiko
Alonso. They have a fucking amazing defense.
I think they're the number two team, and then say that the number three. This is where it's like you could almost put in a hat. But I'm gonna have to go with just Pittsburgh just for the fact I trust their coaching staff over everyone except Andy Reid's coaching staff.
The experience,
the experience. You just can't beat that, and just the stability because yes, they did lose to Washington, but we already know about Washington.
Right.
They're a much better team than people give them credit for. But I can't put Tennessee above them because Tennessee
really
you can't go down that big. Now they can come back, but like I said, they're the honorable mention. They're the honorable mentions. Cleveland, they got the offense, but their defense, can't be left that many points.
It's still the Browns.
It's still the Browns.
The Colts, I said the Colts for me, they're hot and cold. When they're hot, they look really good. In fact, I would put Colts number 3 if I want to, but that's why I went with Pittsburgh. But yeah, God goodness, you can't go wrong with the top 6 teams. I just won't put Miami in just yet, even though Tua time is real.
Yeah,
but
you can't. They're not.
Give them another year.
Give them another year. Yeah, give them another year.
I think for me, we have very similar list. I had KC number 1. I think we all 3 of us will have that. I actually had Pittsburgh number 2 just because of their experience, and I actually like Tennessee. I think Tennessee is the 3rd best team just because they're building on last year. Big Dick Henry, right? He's the best running back in the league. And Tannehill kind of surprised me. I thought last year was just one of those Nick Foles years where he takes over. He has a great, run. They make it, to the second AFC Championship game. But dude, he's been one of the best quarterbacks all year this year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You combine all that, I think their defense is not the greatest, but it's not the worst either.
That was to me the tipping point was the defense.
But they're consistent.
Yeah.
Right? Like, their offense is consistently keeping up with the better offenses in the league. Like, when you talk best offenses in the league, nobody's talking about Tennessee. But if you look at stats, they're right there. And I think ground control is where it really comes down to me, right? Tannehill can manage a game now, and Henry can keep the lead. He's going to get a first down, ground and pound you, wear down the other team's defense. And I think that's what makes them the favorite for me over, like, the Bills, where Josh Allen has been great, but their running game has been kind of non-existent.
Yeah, Mike Singletary's taking a year off. Yeah,
yes.
he's not building off last year. That's true.
I think they've been throwing Zach Moss to the fucking vultures right now, and he hasn't really done shit either. You know what I mean? But that's for me. Like, what about you?
But you also, and I'm just saying, as far as the path, the Bills have an easier path right now.
Yeah,
as well,
especially playing in their division.
And playing the Broncos next. Yeah, come on now.
goddamn team that had team that didn't even have a damn quarterback.
They went down to their fourth string, bro. And it was like, nah.
But that's neither here nor there. They probably pulled a wide receiver who could throw the ball, but you know. But for my three, obviously the Chiefs would be number one. I mean, they've been the most proven, the most consistent throughout the year.
Right.
I see. This is where it gets murky. Yeah. This is where it's really hard because you can make an argument for just about any
9.
You can make an argument with 2 through 9, but when it comes to the playoffs, you got to know how to run the football.
Yeah.
And no team has been able to do that, unlike the Titans. The Titans literally rode Derrick Henry through.
Game. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. And especially if you're going to be playing outside in cold environments, ain't nobody want to tackle him. Like look what he did in New England last year.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to tackle him. Look what he did up in Baltimore. Nobody wanted to tackle him. If you're going to be playing in a cold outdoor environment, you're gonna need a strong run game. I would put Tennessee as number 2. I mean, off of that and feeding off the play action, you can. I mean, and Tannehill has the highest percentage in pass and and it has the highest percentage off of play action in the league.
And he's not
out of everybody. He's not turning the ball over. Yeah. Like they can stack 11 in the box, and I want to see them try and stop Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Like until anybody has consistently been able to stop Derrick Henry. Like
here's one knock against Tennessee. Here's one knock against them. I'm about to do college football on y'all. Their resume.
Yeah.
Look at the teams they lost to. They lost to the other top teams that they would see in the playoffs again. I'll still put them over Indy. I'll still put them over Cleveland, but I don't know how they lost to the Bengals. I don't know what happened there. But they lost to Pittsburgh. Right. A close one. Right. That's my biggest concern is that when it comes to the other better teams,
right.
They always came up just a tiny bit short, mind you. Not massive. They didn't get blown out.
Right.
So that's my only knock. Right. But yes, if they ride Derrick Henry, which mind you, remember those games, they didn't necessarily ride on him. They tried to bounce it out with Tannehill. I think you just use the recipe that you used last year. And I think, like I said, they're not going to be one and done. I'll tell you that much.
The only team you'd be really
my third team.
Go ahead.
My third team would probably it's going to be Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And with honorable mention to the Bills, like Pittsburgh, you can't kind of. I mean, hell, they lost Big Ben last season, and they still almost had a wild card seed. Like the amount of coaching and even outside of, Big Ben hasn't played the greatest year.
Right.
But they've been able to play. They've been able to play good complementary football and have been able to win the game. I mean, hell, they almost had an undefeated season, but at that point, I think they were just literally just trying to cruise through the rest of the season.
Right.
Just trying to get. I mean, but at the same time, I think if Kansas City wins this next game, I think they pretty much lock up the number 1 seed if they beat the Saints. So Pittsburgh would have to host what? They would have to host what? Miami.
For the playoffs?
If the playoffs were to start today.
If the playoffs were to start today, they would play the Colts.
They would play
my bad. I'm looking at the wrong. They're playing in Miami. You're right.
Yeah, they play They would host Miami, which I.
But we don't even know if Miami would be the team. But yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that as it stands right now. Right now, Baltimore's on the outside looking in. The Bills, Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen's biggest thing, he needed a legitimate number 1 receiver, and he got that. With Diggs, that was literally able to open up Josh Allen's ability because now he has a reliable number 1 go-to target that can stretch the field,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't have that last year.
Right.
He really didn't have. So they had to ride Singletary, and once they clogged up that running lane,
Mm-hmm.
he really had nobody reliable to throw it to when you against the Texans last season.
I agree.
So now I don't think the Bills will be one and done. I think they'll advance to the divisional round, but I won't. It's still not enough to put them over Tennessee or this. I mean, after what Derrick Henry did to Buffalo,
Mm.
literally Derrick Henry literally stiff armed Josh Norman like across the field. I can't put them over Tennessee. So yeah, like that. That's what I still would put Tennessee over Pittsburgh, and I think Pittsburgh, like the injuries to Pittsburgh's defense as of lately, has been has been
just due to record, but they haven't wowed anybody.
Who?
Which is Pittsburgh. They haven't
wowed anybody. They haven't wowed anybody. They're doing what they just been winning. They've won all. Yeah, they're winning because they should win, and they're winning all
the
of
easiest
the games.
schedule ever.
They're winning. They're winning the games that they're supposed to. Their 2 losses were to teams that they shouldn't have lost. Like they lost to Washington. They weren't. They're losing the teams that they shouldn't to. And it's just like Kansas City. Kansas City's like coming against these close games against teams that they really shouldn't be outside of the divisional games because of divisional games. But the game against Miami, I mean. They kind of I think they kind of took Miami for granted. They're just like, oh, rookie quarterback, it's Miami Dolphins, whatever. And then when they found out that these guys are fighting back, they were just like, okay, all right. But so that would be my top 3 with the Bills being my honorable mention. And another honorable mention that probably shouldn't really be an honorable mention, but everybody thought would be a lot better was the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh God, we get to that later. There's actually
we'll get that. That's gonna be the most that's honestly gonna
all
be,
of our answers.
Yeah, that's gonna be for later on in the podcast. But yeah, those be.
We could also do dark horses for the AFC. You can start off with that, Terry.
It ain't the Raiders. I'll tell you
hell no. Damn. You can't be a dark horse if you ain't in the playoffs.
Right now, as far as the playoffs right now, I think the team and then the sad part about it is that, I mean, you look at all these teams.
It's AFC.
AFC. You're looking at, right now, the bottom 2 teams, the Colts and the Dolphins, 9-4, 8-5. I mean, these aren't, like, necessarily teams. Right. If I had to go off of the team that like had the least amount of hype, but still is like one of the best teams, it'll be the Colts.
Yep.
Phillip Rivers, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I don't care what they say. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, right?
I agree, 100%.
Their defense,
underrated,
but no one talks about them.
Underrated.
Nobody talks about them. T.Y. Hilton not having the best of years. I'll give him that.
He's up the last 3 games though.
Yeah, he has. He ain't like super fantasy star like he has been the last. He ain't that.
He's coming back. Yeah.
The Colts is a damn good football team. They can beat anyone above them, I think, except necessarily like say the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I never said them. They could beat any of these guys. I'm really happy that franchise turned it around. Right. But I think they'll be the team going in there, and they can run the table. I mean, they're in the AFC South, for Christ's sake.
Right.
They're gonna. I still think the Titans are probably going to finish on top, and so that means the Colts have to go in there as a wild card. But I mean, did they split their series? I think they did.
Let me look.
The Colts did beat the Titans. I think the Colts did beat the Titans.
The Colts did.
They fucking murdered them.
Yeah,
there you go.
Destroyed
the Colts. But like I said, the Colts right now, they're not flashy. They really aren't. Like their superstars aren't performing like superstars. But the defense is legit, full blue collar. I think they have a good chance.
They're just a great value Pittsburgh Steelers team, if you ask me. Like they're not flashy. They play complimentary football. It's just they're not as talented as Pittsburgh, and they don't have the coaching of Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
But they don't like Phillip Rivers, a lesser version of Big Ben. You have their wide receivers. You have T.Y. Hilton, a lesser version of a much older but still less ineffective version of what Juju. But right now, who's their other wide receiver that came up? The rookie for Pittsburgh.
Um,
They got like
Claiborne.
yeah,
Claiborne,
Claiborne
Claiborne, Chase Claiborne.
Chase
There you
yeah,
go.
Chase,
Claiborne. Yeah.
yeah, he came out looking
Yeah.
pretty good. But yeah, like they just play good. Pittsburgh just plays good complementary football,
Mm.
and just the same thing as the Colts. It's just they're just not as the Colts just aren't as talented.
I'll add on to the Colts thing though, because I actually also have the Colts as the quote unquote dark
Mm-hmm.
horse. Dude,
Oh yeah.
Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor has been a fucking
Yeah,
beast.
Yes,
That
he has.
that
yeah.
run game. I think the run game that complements Philip Rivers, who is a veteran quarterback and can manage the game well enough, and that O line. So in San Diego, Philip Rivers was facing a lot of pressure because they had a shitty O line. They never focused on getting him an actual line.
Never,
But now in
never.
Indy has arguably the best O line in the league right now, right?
Mhm.
And he doesn't
After
have
Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck died.
right after Andrew Luck died. They learned their lesson.
Yeah,
You
I mean
know?
that's kind of why Andrew Luck kind
He
of
had to retire.
felt that kind of way
Yeah.
because like I mean had they now if they would have had Andrew Luck with the
Oh
offensive
my
line that
god.
they have,
Mm-hmm.
they could
They're
be
the
a top
favorites.
1 or 2 seed.
They're the favorites with
Yeah,
Andrew Luck, in my opinion.
yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean it's the fact is a great quarterback
Right.
had to call it quits early
Right.
in his career because man was getting killed.
Yeah. But I
Man
think
was getting killed back there.
all the things put together, right? You have solid veteran quarterback who can manage the game well, good running back who can move the chains, solid receiving core, right? Red zone threats. I think Jack Doyle's still there. I think what's his name? The guy that came from Chicago, tight end, Trey Burton.
Trey
It's a pretty
Burton.
good red zone threat, right? And like Terry was saying, super underrated defense, and
Mhm.
they're just solid all across the board. And when you get into the playoffs with no real weaknesses, it's hard to beat a team like that. You know what I mean? And not to
Yeah.
mention, solid across the board, that offense can blow up at any time because the O line's good, the running game's good, and the passing game's good. So it's, I think that just creates the perfect dark horse when nobody's
and
talking
and,
about
and
it.
and if no one's talking about you, do you just go about
Exactly.
your business?
Right.
No, no.
Yeah.
That's,
And mind you, remember they beaten the Raiders, which the Raiders are trash now. I'm sorry, got to
Yeah,
call
they
it this.
trash. They trash.
They beaten Tennessee, split. They beaten Green Bay. Okay. Let's see. They lost to Baltimore. Not sure what's going on there, but they've beaten some good teams. Okay, but they've also lost some teams. They lost to Cleveland and whatnot. So yeah, this is a team. I think yeah, I'm standing by my pick. Yeah.
Same. All right, Des, who you got?
I'm I my dark horse would see.
It's hard because it's like they're all pretty.
Yeah,
even.
they're all really good, but
Say Cleveland.
Say
Say Cleveland.
Say New
I was
England.
that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say Cleveland.
Right.
Cleveland would have been my dark horse because Cleveland has shown that they can score the football. They can put up points. I mean they beat the Titans. They beat the Colts.
Yeah.
But mind you, they got destroyed by the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at their resume, it's like they lost to the Ravens. All right, they lost to the Raiders,
Yeah.
and they lost both games against the Ravens. Mind you, the first game was at the beginning of the season where they got destroyed, and this last game they lost on a 55-yard field goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
That
that
was a
I
game.
mean that was probably one of the greatest games of the year.
Right.
I mean, yeah, their losses have been to the Ravens twice, and the Steelers
Right.
and the Raiders.
I think the problem
And-
with Cleveland.
Division opponents. Division opponents.
And it sucks to say that the last 3 games are against the New York Giants, the Jets,
Yeah.
and the Steelers.
Yeah.
So I mean,
That's
can
2 out
they-
of 3.
Yeah.
that's
pretty
2
much.
out of 3, right? So can they get in? Yeah. And
Mhm.
can they potentially win a playoff game against a team that they've already beaten? If let's see,
They'd be playing Tennessee.
they'd be playing Tennessee.
Oh
And-
no,
and they-
no,
and they-
no,
and-
mm-mm. They
Like,
ain't being
the thing with
Yeah,
Cleveland though is okay.
I mean, yeah, that's why I was saying I would take their dark horse if they played any other team but Tennessee.
I'll say this about Cleveland though. Right. So I don't know why they're relying so much on Baker Mayfield when they have arguably the best running back duo in the league.
Nick
Nick
Chubb
Chubb and
and
Kareem
Kareem
Hunt.
Hunt.
How do you
Right.
not rely on that talent? Like I'm pretty sure all 9 games they've won, those two have combined for like 175 yards in every win. It's insane. Like, why would you still continue to rely on Baker Mayfield? He's clearly not the elite quarterback you drafted him to be. He's good. I don't think he's bad. I think he's good enough to be on a playoff team, maybe even a championship team. But he can't be the guy you rely on.
I think the reason why they did so bad last year was because they literally just didn't.
Yeah.
Their coaching was shit last year.
They were like, Baker, take us to the college championship game. Like, nah, bro, this is the NFL. This
But
doesn't work like that.
We'll say, for all the people whose teams did not make the playoffs, I think everyone's going to be a Browns fan. Because, let's be honest, outside of Kansas City, they are the most exciting team to watch. Amazing enough, in 2020, Cleveland. Well, I'm talking about AFC side. AFC side. KC is obviously fun to watch.
Right.
Pittsburgh is terribly boring to watch.
Oh my God, they're the new Giants Cowboys.
It's actually pretty boring.
But the Browns are fun to watch.
Yeah, they are.
The Browns and the Bills are probably the two exciting teams to watch in the AFC. I mean, the Dolphins have become exciting just to watch Tua, just to see how well he's doing. Like seeing them play and just seeing Tua play, that's exciting to watch. Watching Buffalo seeing Josh Allen develop into the quarterback that he is, a potential MVP candidate. Like that's exciting to watch. You know what you're gonna get when you watch Tennessee. You're just gonna see Derrick Henry get the ball and run over people.
Right. As a Patriots fan, I can't root for the Bills. I can't root for the Dolphins. I can root for the Colts, though. I actually kind of like the Colts.
What about the Titans?
Fuck the Titans. Fuck my Bears.
That's when King Henry came up there to
It still hurts. They ended Tom Brady's run in New England. You can't forgive him for that.
They really did.
I mean, literally, Tom Brady's final play in the playoffs
in
New England was a pick six, bro.
By Logan fucking Ryan, bro. Like, come on, man.
That's not the way to go out.
It's not. All
right. So we'll make that transition.
We're gonna transition to the disappointing team. Can we all just say it in unison? 1, 2, 3. Baltimore.
Shit. Wow. Yeah. It's
but I mean, to speak on it, it's Lamar Jackson being exposed, like we said, for being one-dimensional.
If you have to be honest, you got to be honest. It's going to be, especially considering where they were last year.
Yeah.
So you look at relatively speaking, yes, but considering where they were last year, MVP candidate to what he is now, he's a shell of himself. Right. Absolute shell of himself. Now the defense is not helping them by any stretch, right? But at the same time, I forgot, maybe it was Chris Collinsworth who said this, but he did say the Raiders defense last year was playing above their pay grade, and they absolutely were. Now they're brought back down to earth, and they're playing. Which one? They're not bad. They're not bad, but they're not the Ray Lewis Baltimore defense of the past. But now their offense has to be, hey, you got to be someone that can stay on the field. You got to be consistent, and Lamar Jackson has to evolve. And on top of that, given that he's in the conversation of your Pat Mahomes, your Josh Allen, even your Kyle Burst like that, all those other quarterbacks got better.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, while he worse, going from an MVP candidate to what he is now, he absolutely got hella worse. Right. And it's unfortunate because, like I said, nothing else really changed around him. Yeah. Nothing else changed around him. In fact, they got better talent-wise, but he took a step back. Hollywood Brown ain't doing no favor. That kid dropping the ball left and right.
Bro, I feel like he was a fluke last year.
I want to say too, he came out the gates a little almost too quick.
I mean, shades of Tavon Austin, just fast. That's all it is.
Exactly. And I just think they're the most disappointed. I don't think any other team took as big of a step back. I'm just going through the teams. I don't think anyone. They're the ones with the biggest drop.
Took a step back as well. Their injuries, though, And they traded D Hop and Bill
Injuries,
O'Brien.
bad office management.
Yeah.
Honestly, the reason why they took a step back, they should have been fired. Bill O'Brien
Yeah.
like 3 seasons
3 years ago, yeah.
and
A
and
whole
and
long
and
time
now
ago.
and now they literally just have to find their way. They have to basically find they literally they literally traded D Hop
Yeah.
for fucking pennies, for fucking scraps.
David Johnson, you fucking
David just
corpse.
scraps.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking yeah. So
Yeah.
my most disappointing team, probably from all the I mean, I would put San Francisco in that title, in that category, for being as great as they was, but the amount of
The
injuries
injuries.
that
Injuries, correct.
You can't.
their injuries
Mhm.
decimated that team. Week 1
Yeah.
decimation.
Yeah.
So that's why San Francisco wouldn't be mine.
It's not, and it's not.
Uh,
It was
it,
just one injury at a time. It was like 3 at a time.
and they were all to star players.
Batches going down.
They were to start players. It wasn't like, oh, your second string rotational defensive end got. Nah, man, freaking defensive player of the year went out. Game 1 done.
And we're talking
And
end of the year. You're talking about season-ending injuries,
yeah, season
like
ending.
biceps snapping off and
Yeah.
everything. So,
But to be fair,
mean,
San Fran was kind of trash even with Garoppolo, so it was just like
Garoppolo is just a game manager. That's all
Yeah.
he was. He just close his eyes and throw it to Kittle.
that
Okay,
$30 million game.
there you go. But yeah, like as far as the most disappointing team, it would have to be the Ravens. Once Tennessee did what they did to them
Mm-hmm.
in their own house and
Yeah.
found out basically the blueprint of beating Lamar Jackson, there it is. Lamar
Yeah.
Jackson's a glorified Michael Vick. Like
mhm.
you
Let's not
kid, he
disrespect
is
Mike
not.
Vick like that. Mike Vick is
I mean, we're not okay. No
Bro.
disrespect to Michael Vick at all, but when you have a quarterback who has this kind of talent,
Mm.
and I'm gonna reference Cam Newton,
Mhm.
when you have a quarterback that does not develop his ability to
Mhm.
throw from within the
Yeah.
pocket,
Yeah,
you get what you get.
you do.
Lamar Jackson threw the ball 55 times in that game
Yeah.
against Tennessee.
Yeah.
That was not how Baltimore won their games
Yeah.
last year. They ran the football. Lamar Jackson used his legs, and they
Right.
played great defense,
Right.
and they got turnovers. Lamar Jackson, they won the game. Lamar Jackson threw the ball less than 25 times.
Mhm.
He had to throw the ball double the amount of times to be able to even remotely stay alive in that game.
Yeah.
That is not how they played. If you make Lamar Jackson have to throw the ball, they're not going to win, because that's not how they win games. That's not how they're built to win,
Mhm.
and that's not how they're going to win moving forward.
Yeah.
You limit the amount of offensive snaps they take, and you keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket, make him deliver the football.
Yeah.
They're going to fold
I mean-
every time, and teams have been taking note of that, which is why, obviously, outside of him having COVID, outside of their team, outside of basically like 14 players on their team having COVID,
Mhm.
you know, but outside of that, they literally aren't. They're not the same team. They're off. What got them as far as they did last season is not
They
going to.
they
is not going to
basically
get them anywhere.
replicated the exact thing Carolina did in 2015.
2015,
Whatever
yeah, where
year
they went
made it.
15-1.
Yeah, they basically replicated that with the same type of
15-1.
quarterback, with the same receiving core, same running back core.
Yeah.
Except Carolina's defense was better, I think.
Yeah, no, it was.
Carolina's
But other
defense
than
was
that,
better.
and then the blueprint has always been there. Like, okay, running back, quarterback comes in, fucking shakes up the league. Everybody figures it out the next year, and then they fall. The only people that have rose above that was Russell Wilson,
Because
he learned how to throw.
Russell Wilson learned that, and not to mention, he's not a power. He's not a. They don't run a lot of quarterback.
Right, exactly.
runs for
They're
him.
not a
'Cause
run
he's
first team.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, they were a run first team, obviously, when they had beast mode back there. But
Right.
like at the same time, Russell Wilson knows when to run,
Right.
and he knows when to get.
That man, well, he perfected that slide.
Right,
Yeah,
like
he played baseball. He played baseball.
Yeah, he played baseball.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
and I think Russell Wilson took the approach to that. He knew
Yeah.
that his athleticism isn't going to last forever. He's
Right.
going to have to know how
Yeah.
to stand in the pocket
Stand in the
and
pocket, make your
deliver the
reads.
football
Yep, make your
and make
reads.
and go through. I feel like Lamar's like, okay, if my first read ain't there, I'm a pull it down and run.
Yeah, pretty much.
And if his first read isn't there, and he's like, yep, I got to pull it down
Mm-hmm.
and run.
Yeah.
And Cam Newton basically, but Cam Newton tries to run through people. At
Yeah.
least Lamar Jackson, he's an evasive runner.
Yeah,
He's able to
because
he
Lamar
basically
Jackson's a
can
twig,
outrun
bro.
people.
Well, Lamar Jackson's a twig, bro. He get hit by a linebacker, it's over.
Oh yeah,
Cam's
Yeah.
going
actually
back
built enough
yards.
to get hit.
Yeah,
Look what happened to Mike Vick. That's what he was doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Vick got touched. He tore
He
his
Yeah.
did
helmet.
go. He got
That's what
touched
I'm saying.
all up. Now, one thing I'm glad no one said was the Patriots, because when you lose Hall of Fame, everyone knew they weren't gonna be as good. You know what I mean? That's why you can't say that they're disappointing, because
They're not.
you lose all that, and you have like 20 players on defense.
Right. That's the thing.
Out,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's why you can't put them
They're
on
not
that
the
list.
same
You just can't.
defense. They lost half their defense. That was the best in the league last year, and it's fucking Cam Newton. We were just talking about how bad
Yeah.
the guy
Yeah,
is.
you got everybody was like, "Oh, Cam Newton will be great. He's a he's an MVP quarterback. Yeah, former MVP
Former.
quarterback. Like
Mm-hmm.
this man had 2 season-ending injuries
Mhm.
back-to-back years, and literally the man couldn't throw the ball
Yeah.
10 yards. Literally, when he got injured and he was playing injured against the Saints in that playoff game,
Mhm.
and even the games before that, literally every throw was a check down to C-Mac. Every play,
Yeah.
throwing it to C-Mac out the flat, throwing it to C-Mac on quick inside slants, check down to C. Like that's that's majority of his plays. And if he did manage enough strength to throw it downfield, the shit went 10 yards over the receiver.
To be,
Damn.
Like yeah, he had no control over it if he was able to muster the strength to throw it that far.
to be fair to
And
him,
then-
Carolina's playbook was just throw it to C-Mac and get out the way.
I mean, yeah, I mean that is their playbook. I mean that kind of is their
Got to do that, boys. Let me
I mean,
get there.
I mean, he's the first dude to ever make it to the Pro Bowl as a flex player
Mhm.
and a running back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey, you gotta give credit to where credit's due. The man's a damn good player.
Yeah.
But transition, I guess we can transition.
Terry, you said you were gonna say something before we transition. If you want to get that in there.
No, it was definitely. I'm just going top to bottom and whatnot, and just looking to see who else fell off, so to
Right.
speak. But those are the three teams
are the
that
three
dropped the
teams.
most.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the teams that are in the playoff picture, like say Atlanta, we weren't that great last year.
Right.
Wait a minute.
Everybody-
actually,
I guess you
Everybody
throw
expect-
Minnesota into that.
But
Yeah,
I mean, Minnesota fell off because everybody. I mean, they lost Diggs. They lost their receiving tandem.
Mhm. But Justin
Obviously
Jefferson though is
Yeah,
really good this year.
he's popped off.
Yo,
He's came up, but the fact is that everybody knows, goddamn, Kirk Cousins ain't that guy.
he really is. He
He
is.
ain't
He's
like
not
he
that guy,
is
yeah.
not that
Too
guy.
inconsistent. He has so much
Like
potential.
I mean, dude, like at times you feel like this dude could be a Hall of Fame, but honestly,
Mhm.
that's the reason why Stephon Diggs left.
Yeah.
He actually said it's because they were dedicating to the run.
Yeah.
Like Dalvin Cook, damn good running back, top
No,
3 running back in the league
That's
right
not
now.
a bad plan right there. If you
Yeah,
ask me.
that's not
That's
a
not a
bad
bad That's not a bad plan when Dalvin Cook didn't go down for like 2 games and you got Kirk Cousins back there trying to throw the ball, and it's just like, they made look like a deer in the headlights trying to throw the football. But I mean, but thing about it, they used to be a good team when it came to play action. Like Kirk
Yeah.
Cousins used to be good
Yeah.
when it came
Yeah.
to that. But when you get rid of Thielen, hasn't been 100%
Mhm.
Mhm.
from last season. Diggs is gone,
Mhm.
and not to mention looking on the defensive side, Xavier Rhodes got old.
Mhm.
They had
their
to get rid
defense
of
fell
him.
off hard.
Their defense fell off
They used to be
hard.
an elite defense. Now they're just middle of the pack.
Yeah, now
Oh, yeah.
they're definitely middle of the pack, and their back end is sus. Xavier
Mhm.
Rhodes was a lockdown corner,
He
but
was.
he was.
He was old 2 years ago. For being
Yeah,
honest.
he got old. He got
2
old.
years
People
ago.
realize how long he's been in the league.
But
Yeah.
I think it really tapered off last season when he got that ankle injury, and it's
Yeah.
just
Body ain't healing no more.
Yeah,
yeah, his
done.
body ain't healing, so they had to revamp their defense, and then I think
Mhm.
one of their defensive linemen left. Was it Harrison?
No, Hunter.
Yeah.
The guy that went to Dallas.
Yeah, Daniil Hunter. They just lost a lot of pieces, and they just haven't been able to really recover. I mean, they're making it competitive. They're still in the hunt, but I don't think. I mean, honestly, if Minnesota were to squeak in as a bottom seed, they're. I don't. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly.
one and done. Unless they play the Saints.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah, that's true. Unless they play the same, which honestly, that may be the case because, well, no, never mind. They'll probably play the Rams.
Everybody trying to play the Saints, bro. You know it. Taysom Hill, come on, man.
I mean, out of the weakest top team, honestly,
They're the
out
weakest
of the
top
weakest,
team. Yeah.
they're the weakest top. Nobody wants to see Green Bay and Lambeau.
Oh hell no.
Nobody wants to go to LA.
Mm-mm.
Washington will surprise a lot of people.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
and that's your top four. Out of all that, the Saints are probably the weakest.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we can go
in
ahead.
the NFC. Yeah.
Speaking of top teams, we can transition to the NFL awards predictions. So who y'all got for? So we'll go backwards. So usually MVPs first, but we'll go MVP last.
No, we didn't do the. Did we skip the most surprising team?
Oh yeah, you want to do? Yeah, we could do most surprising team. Actually, yeah. Who's the most surprising team? Good catch that.
Are you doing AFC, NFC, or
just do in general? Yeah, both conferences. Like who has been the most surprising team all year, basically.
Dolphins.
Yeah.
I would have to say the Dolphins. The Dolphins have been the most surprising team. I mean, we all know that they have an they have a very under the radar defense.
Yeah.
Just like the Colts. It's just that they don't have the offensive. They don't have the quarterback yet.
I have
to be able and the offense to be able to ride that. They have a good. I don't even know who. I honestly don't even know who.
I have three teams who are surprising. I think Miami. I agree with. I actually have Cleveland as being kind of surprising.
I have two.
And
I didn't put Cleveland.
Arizona is my other one.
Yeah, Arizona would be my NFC team. And
Arizona is playing, in my opinion, where they should be. They're on schedule with their rebuild, so that's why that didn't surprise me as much. I do have to agree that I think Miami is the most surprising because you have to think just a season ago. Or the 2 seasons ago, remember there was a fire sale in Miami, right? They were giving away everyone for free.
Yeah. Fucking Fitzpatrick started this year, and
the fact is, you went into the season with Fitzpatrick as your starter and Tua, who's coming along, and you got 8 wins, and you had no preseason.
Yeah.
So yes, that's very amazing. And then the reason why I say my other one would be the Colts because everyone when Phillip Rivers came over, they're like, is this going to work? Is he just, is he about to be a guy that's just going to hop to another team? It's going to be whatever. And here they are, 9-4, and playing really good football. That came out of nowhere. And like I said, again, most importantly, they don't have a star-studded crew. You get what I'm saying? And neither does Miami. Neither does Arizona. So yeah, you guys are all right on those three. Like I said, you can't say Cleveland. Cleveland is stacked talent-wise.
But I feel like with Cleveland, though, even with the stacked talent, like, when OBJ went down, that's when they made their ascension.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe New York was right this whole time.
He was the problem. I think it's because he was demanding targets. But I'm looking at the stats for Cleveland, which makes it even more surprising. They're minus 20 in the point differential column.
Because the defense, they can make a hole, but the Falcons defense 2016, they're opportunistic as all anything. But you can run points upon them, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, their offense wasn't Falcons' offense from that year either. So
Yeah, you can't be 9-4 and have in fact, I think the Falcons have a better point differential than the Browns do right now.
Yeah.
And we won 5 less games than them.
Right?
Hey man, we going for that top 5 pick though.
Which 9-4
That's true. But I think out of looking out of all the playoff teams,
right?
All those teams. Well, and you can make all about Washington just due to how disarray they were in.
But
you get what I'm saying?
Division though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm put it because their division. If their division, Dallas and Dak.
Dallas literally has not been eliminated from the playoffs because that division is that.
No, and neither has Philly.
You know
so I won't give it to Washington just due to, like I say again, really, if they had a team in there that was playing their potential, it would have been whatever. But at the current trajectory, I mean, Ron Rivera, I always thought he was a good head coach.
I did too,
he was at Carolina. Right now, I think he has the best coaching staff in the NFC East, and you give them a preseason and give them something to get Dan Snyder, get him away from the organization. I think Washington might be able to take over that division. But yeah,
I mean, you look at the other coaches, fucking Mike McCarthy, Peterson. I don't even know coach. Is it fucking Jason Garrett in fucking New York?
He's offensive coordinator. Joe Judge. Yeah, he's college dude. He was a college head coach.
I mean, that says it all.
Right. All right.
We can transition now. So
transition to topic number 2,
the awards. So we'll go backwards and we'll save MVP for last. So we'll go rookies first. I think defensive rookie of the year is kind of unanimous, in my opinion, right? Like I have Chase Young.
Yeah.
It's best rookie defensive player on the best defensive
team.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Give me a second. I agree with you.
I just don't see anybody. I mean, Jeremy Chin, but I don't think he's rookie of the year.
Yeah.
I think that kid from Tampa Bay is pretty good. I forget his name.
McGibb.
You got him.
I'm from Big Fat.
And now look, it's got to be Chase Young. It's got to be Chase Young.
Nobody else stands out.
He's only right now for just a season. He's been a game changer.
Yeah.
He has changed their whole defense.
He
so
has.
The other guys already have pieces in place. They did contribute, but I think obviously, to be fair, there was no way that they could provide such an impact that Chase Young did.
Right.
So it's almost like if Chase Young would be elite, these guys would have to be super elite.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Phenoms, and
he's literally the anchor to a top tier defense, and he's a rookie.
Correct. Yeah. I think he and I hate mentioning the Saints, but I think he's going to be what what's the defensive end in New Orleans?
Will Smith,
Demario Davis.
Demario Davis.
Oh, Demario. Okay.
Not Demario Davis. The defensive
end. Cam Jordan.
I think he's going to be the Cam Jordan. He's the anchor. He's the one that once they drafted him, they built around him and made it better. I think he's going to be the exact same thing.
Oh yeah, he's legit.
So I think Chase Young was kind of easy. That's
I mean, had I want to say, and this is a kind of a biased opinion, but had the Falcons been a lot better than they were this year, I could make an argument for AJ Terrell. AJ Terrell has been coming along better as the season has progressed. He's taken on a lot of good. He's taking on a lot of good number one receivers.
All the number ones. So he got that experience, boy. I tell you that.
So but I feel like
because the Falcons are just bad as a team,
they're Washington has a better defense. So
exactly. Like I'm saying, like you're picking a team, a Chase. I mean, that's why it's so hard to not pick Chase Young, is because Chase Young is literally the catalyst of that defense. Like he's a person that you have to look at the line and know where this man is coming from. Like you have to be like, yo.
Okay, somebody make sure that man is.
Somebody make sure this dude doesn't kill my quarterback.
He's gonna blitz every play, right?
Like he's gonna find a way to make plays, and that's the thing though. Like you have to. He's a guy that you have to account for on the defense, and that's why it's kind of hard to pick a corner when you're in a. Who is at the door? You have to basically be able to. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you don't really account for corners. They just make sure that. I mean, if they're a lockdown corner, you don't really account for corners because
especially the rookie, you go after them. That's the difference. You go in their direction. Defensive, you don't really. Defensive ends can obviously wreak more havoc than say a corner. Now, if he was a strong safety. Like, say, someone who's a head buster, like, say, Keanu Neal, you want to know where that guy's at. So, but I would definitely say, as far as if they had a most improved, say, rookie, I think it would be AJ Terrell, just given the nature that when you're in a corner, you're on an island by yourself, outside of safety help, and you're going up against number ones, and not just number ones as far as a team, but we're talking about the Michael Thomas, soon Mike Evans with Tom Brady. You know what I mean?
Right, every day.
And you get put on blast every down. If Chase Young doesn't get to the quarterback, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He still calls something. So, yeah. And AJ Terrell, given that he had COVID, I think for 2 games.
Beginning of the season.
Yeah, beginning of the season. And then on top of that, again, when our line got injured, that one game when we had Dante Fowler was out and Tack was out, we had no pass rush. There's nothing he could do. But here's the thing. He wasn't getting beat deep. He was just, when they get the crossing routes, he was making tackles on the spot, which that's where he, made up for it. And then, he could break up passes. Hopefully he doesn't end up like Desmond Trufant where he has brick hands, because there's a lot of interceptions that he dropped. But outside of that, I would say he's definitely now, mind you, if you were to consider Rookie of the Year, Defensive Year from their draft pick, from draft night hype to where they are today, I would say AJ Terrell is easily top 5, easily. But I think Chase Young, given that he was hyped up day one. Hyped up, and he's produced.
But he's lived up to the hype. He's
exactly.
So
you can't take it from him. But definitely, AJ Terrell he does get, and especially all the cornerbacks, because they say, "Oh, you drafted him too high." He's outperformed all the other cornerbacks that got drafted. So take that for what it's worth.
So we can move on to offensive rookie of the year. I think personally, this is pretty cut and dry, but. I think so. All right, so I'll give my pick, and then you guys can
give your pick. Give it. What you got?
Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
It has to be Justin Herbert. There's no one.
I don't want to give it to him. The reason why I don't want to give it to him, because the opportunity he was given was unfortunate.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That should have never happened. It should have never happened. And so, let's say Tyrod Taylor's still playing. I would give it to Justin Jefferson for Minnesota.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Jefferson.
He's my honorable. Him and James Robinson from Jacksonville, the running back. My honorable mentions.
Honestly, I would.
But
if we would have put things on a level playing field, as far as how often do you find your damn coaching staff puncture the lung of your
but still, even with that, given the opportunity, 3,500 yards thus far, 25 TDs,
Dude is gonna be a beast.
Yeah.
Dude is gonna be a beast. He's gonna be a beast, no cap. But out of I kind of wish all the other quarterbacks had a adequate sample size.
You can't put Tua in argument because he has
exactly.
Very
he has 2 games. Oh wait, he has 1 full game as starter. So he only has 1 game as a starter. And who was the other? Wasn't there another rookie?
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow, and he lost, and he died.
But even with that, we had a good enough sample size for him but the team just sucks.
You couldn't give it to him. You couldn't give it to him. There's nothing he can do up there. Everyone knew that.
That's not even his fault.
It's not, but you're not gonna get the award based on sympathy. You got to produce.
Potential,
you're not going to get it.
Everyone knew. Yeah, because there was no one up there. Everyone knew that. Yeah, that was again, and not to mention, given the league is biased to quarterbacks. It's gonna come down between Justin Jefferson and Justin Herbert. It's gonna go to Justin Herbert, no question about it.
But I think he deserves it, because he got thrown into the fire with the same team Phillip Rivers had last year. Horrible O-line.
And mind you,
you know what I'm saying?
The only reason they've actually been able, and it's sad to say, they were able to win a close game with us. Outside of the games that the Falcons have lost.
I'm gonna need you to swallow your food, Des.
I'm gonna need but it's good though. But outside of the games that they have lost, outside the 2 games that the Falcons lost to Dallas and
we're gonna bring up these
loons. Shut up, man. Outside of those losses, the Chargers have had worse losses than that, and more consistently this season.
Yeah.
But for the fact is that none of those were on Justin Herbert.
Yeah. But I mean, Rookie of the Year will always be based on stats and not wins. That's the thing. I think it's hard to argue against Justin Herbert. Even though I think Jefferson will end up being probably the best player to come out of the bunch.
Well, I mean, it depends on who's throwing him the ball, though.
I would say, as of right now, if you look at the current, because everyone knows, Chargers head coach, he's getting fired at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So they're going to have some turmoil.
Right.
The Chargers, if you had to compare organization to organization, the Vikings versus the Chargers, the Vikings way better. I think Justin Jefferson has a better cast to really have a set. I would say CeeDee Lamb, but just given what Dallas going on right now, I did took my argument. But yeah, Justin Herbert, I think unfortunately he might face the same kind of fate that Phillip Rivers might face.
Or Alex
unfortunately.
Smith, even.
Smith, yeah. But as a rookie coming out of nowhere,
yeah,
he's doing a bit. And to be fair, remember Keenan Allen. He's a beast.
Mike
He's going to put up numbers left and right. Everyone knows that.
Most underrated receiver in the league right now, I feel.
I think. Yeah, I mean, he always was underrated because, like I said again, he's
Chargers.
The Chargers, AFC West, KC's in your division. No one's going to talk about you. So, but yeah, I think Justin Herbert. I think he's going to run away with it because on top of that, he's and Justin Jefferson is going to do so much. Plus the fact that he has Adam Thielen on the other side of him, which is good because that means he's not all by himself, like Julio and Calvin. So I'm cool with that.
But the fact that he's producing the way he is pretty impressive for me.
I mean, if you watch Hard Knocks, you saw what he was throwing. You saw what he was throwing. I knew it.
He did knew. Okay. Defensive Player of the Year. I think this is pretty easy too. Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald, goddamn it. You can't.
Best defense in the league.
That's exactly it. That's my thing. Is the fact is that this year the Rams defense finally got all around because before they could get the sacks, they could get the picks, but damn it, they can't stop people from scoring, right? Yeah. So it's like that's the thing. But now,
bend don't break.
Exactly. But now they're actually stopping people,
right?
So it makes more sense that Aaron Donald gets it. I would also throw T.J. Watt in there.
I agree.
But
again,
Pittsburgh is always, he's not flashing. Aaron Donald, he's just causing hell, and he's been doing it for I think it's 5 seasons.
Because I mean, honestly, Aaron Donald, he's a defensive tackle compared to T.J. Watt, who's a defensive end.
Yeah.
T.J. Watt, he's defensive. I think he's a linebacker, but
every play from the edge, which is much easier
than coming up the middle.
Yeah,
up the middle.
And the fact that Aaron Donald isn't even a big guy. He's not that big.
He's just strong.
He's just strong
and technical.
Exactly. He has great technique, and he's just ridiculous. I've seen this man lift offensive linemen off the ground.
I think that O line where he fucking one-handed that O lineman.
Yes, he literally one-handed an offensive lineman. Like you can't even match that. You know what I'm saying?
Not to mention he's the actual anchor of the defense. I wouldn't call T.J. Watt the anchor.
That's true. Not even close. Not even close.
The only anchor defensive ends that I remember is like J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
J.J. Watt.
But think about J.J. Watt could line up anywhere though.
Yeah,
J.J. Watt can line up outside, inside. He can go anywhere.
Or Patrick Willis from the linebacker position, like these.
Yeah, back in the day.
Level. TJ Watt's not.
Give him time. Give him time. If he stays with Pittsburgh, him and was it Minka Fitzpatrick, who was a steal?
I can't believe they got him for like a third round pick or something.
That's Pittsburgh doing Pittsburgh things right there.
Yeah,
that don't make no damn sense.
That scouting team is underrated as fuck. Like,
that's robbing.
Yeah,
that's highway robbery.
Yeah, so far these picks have been kind of easy.
Yeah, they have been.
All
right. Yep. Offensive Player of the Year.
Give me a second.
I got Derrick Henry.
I put 3. I always got 3, and when I had to finally call it, I have to just give me a second.
For me, it's between Derrick Henry and Dalvin Cook, and I have Derrick Henry.
No receiver has really shown out this year.
The only reason I say that is because MVP will always go to a quarterback. So you have to give Offensive Player of the Year to the running back or the receiver. Yeah, there's no receiving options that stand out this year at all. Maybe Travis Kelce, but like, nah, I wouldn't give him Offensive Player.
No, not Kelce. No, not Kelce.
Not even Hill or Adams. Tyreek Hill or Devontae Adams, but. I mean,
honestly, Tyreek Hill is just a really fast dude.
Yeah. But Offensive Player of the Year, I got to go with Derrick Henry, bro. He's got to get it.
Derrick Henry is in my top 3, yes. I would say if Drew Brees didn't get injured, it's Alvin Kamara.
I agree. But he's slowed down so much though.
But that's not him though.
It's
you
not
gotta look at throwing the ball.
But
you gotta look at throwing the ball.
But he still gets punished for it though.
That is true. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. So I would say if Drew Brees stay alive, it's Alvin Kamara, no question, right? 100%. But man, but you know who I'm thinking, man? Devontae Adams.
Yes.
Yo, I want him to win one, because the thing
is, his name. Yes.
He's in the conversation every time with Julio and Michael Thomas stuff like that. It would be nice for him to take home a award because I think he does get it. But people will take it away from him that you got Aaron Rodgers and blah blah blah, which is true. But then
it's also that away from him.
Honestly, like when it comes to MVP.
Not MVP. Not MVP. Different thing.
So offensive player of the year. Like, honestly, if we're doing running, well, it's kind of hard just to not pick Derrick Henry, or even Dalvin Cook. But if I had to give it to somebody other than those two, I would probably pick DK Metcalf.
Really? Over Devontae Adams?
Ooh.
As of right now, yeah. I would
1,100 yards and 14 TDs, and you're taking DK Metcalf? I don't know, man.
I mean, I would.
Less games, by the way. Less games.
I would pick DK Metcalf because everybody knows what Devontae Adams can do. Mm-hmm. Everybody's already seen what Devontae Adams can do. Right. DK Metcalf.
He gets most improved for that.
Metcalf has definitely because who was the other receiver that they had? The fucking Seattle. They had that old ass man. Old shit. Man is old.
Who else does Green Bay have? Fucking Valdez Scantling, bro. Come on.
Man, they got
Robert Jones. Who?
Gee.
They got a running game.
Aaron Jones running back, bro.
Seattle got Russell Wilson. But I'm saying Green Bay actually has a running game to lean on. Like, if you're talking about offensive player of the year, okay, how many games has Aaron Rodgers won without Devontae Adams?
Plenty.
Exactly. Right. My point. They won games without Devontae Adams. Now, put DK Metcalf in the same situation.
Russell Wilson. Right. Yeah, that's what the only comparison is that having a running game only impacts the quarterback, not the receiver. That's the only thing is. So I see where you're going with that.
Right. If anything, not having a running game has forced them to throw more, giving him more opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly. So therefore, DK. Well, I'm not saying Devontae Adams doesn't want it. I'm just playing devil advocate because
I understand what you're doing, but I don't think DK Metcalf. I think you can die on the hill for Tyreek Hill because he has similar stats.
Correct. Yeah.
Man, but my Tyreek Hill just fast as fuck.
DK Metcalf will get the most improved or something, most improved or most surprising. Like absolutely, because from last year to this year, he's made a hell of a case, but. Would you put DK Metcalf in the same conversation as Julio and?
No. He's not a top 5 receiver.
This is like you said. This isn't all time. This is just for this season.
even this season. But the conversation. That's the conversation we're talking about. Like DK Metcalf won't get that respect this year to make a push for the Offensive Player of the Year. Next year, however. So what he's doing this year, yes, absolutely.
Right. I think he's been a top 5 receiver this year, but he's not better than Devontae. Or production-wise or player-wise. He's not. He's just can't put him ahead of him.
Yeah. Now, like I said, again, just obviously quarterback. Russ has had some off games. Mm-hmm. Given that he's up more consistent, like I said, preseason, this, that, and the third. Yeah. But right now, if I'd say like from a running back, Derrick Henry.
Yeah, Derrick
absolutely. Derrick Henry. But if it's a wide receiver, it's got to be Devontae Adams. Yeah. I gotta give props where it's due.
It has to be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to show you. But yeah, that's true.
Well, I
don't think anybody can argue against Derrick Henry. Honestly,
being a wide receiver.
Yeah, you can't really argue against Derrick Henry. That man.
You really can't. That man, he built different.
He is.
All right, MVP. I got Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
I got Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Hold on. Let me back up.
I either have Aaron, Josh
Aaron
Allen.
Rodgers, I would say 3 points over Pat Mahomes, but I will definitely say after this last game, I probably ticked that just a little bit, but yeah, Aaron Rodgers has kept it consistent, start to finish.
39 TDs, 4
yeah.
INTs, 120 QB rating, 85 QBR. That's
sign him up.
Only 4 interceptions.
Only 4.
So he's efficient with the ball, but I mean at the same time, Pat Mahomes
got the best record.
He does have the best record. I mean, 300 yards per game, 33 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
Who's had the more difficult slate? Green Bay by far. By far.
Yeah. And Aaron Rodgers still has a higher quarterback rating and a slightly higher QBR.
Yeah.
No.
So I mean, it'd be what's Josh Allen's? Josh Allen.
So 28-9, 76
I mean,
QBR,
28 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
I can't give him MVP though.
Yeah.
I'd give Russell Wilson MVP before I give Josh Allen MVP.
I mean, I didn't even know Russell Wilson had a 70% completion percentage.
Bro, Russell he was balling out like 1 through 8.
Early season.
Early season.
He fell off a cliff though. Like
his QBR dropped.
But I mean that going back to like the team argument, his old line has been absolute fucking dude.
Trash. Yeah.
His old line went back 2 years, honestly.
Got the Houston Texans O line over there.
Oh man.
Literally. Then it's a shot that Russell Wilson's been healthy this whole time. Yeah,
exactly.
it's all that's mad. But yeah, I would have to go Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes.
Honorable mention Pat Mahomes.
And then Josh Allen. If that was my top 3, it'd be Pat Mahomes. It'd be Aaron, Patty Mahomes and Josh Allen.
I'll throw Derrick Henry a little honorable mention, but he's obviously not going to win MVP.
Yeah, it's going to go to a QB. But due to the fact
I'd put Kyler Murray over Derrick Henry if that were the case. If I had to put I'll put Kyler Murray.
I agree with that. He's had a
Kyler Murray. He's
honorable mention. What he's doing.
Coming over there in the NFC West, boy. I tell you, when that whole division gets healthy, someone got to die.
Yeah,
someone's got to go.
I mean, we also have to mention Ryan Tannehill, 28 TDs, 5 INTs.
Maybe that's the thing with change of scenery can really do you good.
Yeah, what? I mean, he was in fucking Miami.
When they had nothing. When they had literally nothing.
Bowles was your head coach. Woo.
Oh, God.
Well, no, not Todd Bowles. Was it Adam Gase? He was down there. Then he went.
Adam Gase.
Adam Gase.
Horrible, bro.
Then he took his horribleness to the Jets.
And they 0-13.
Yeah. And then Todd Bowles went to Tampa Bay.
And now their defense is legit though.
Yeah.
He went back to doing what he's known
been
to do.
doing. Yeah.
That's probably what Dan Quinn should probably do. Just go back to being a defensive coordinator, dude.
Yeah.
Head coach ain't for you.
Right now, there's some colleges that's trying to get him as head coach.
Yeah,
which is cool.
More power to him.
Hey, he already made his millions.
Man.
Third.
I think we all agreed. Aaron Rodgers, MVP. Okay. So we'll go to the third topic. Top 5 lists.
Top 5 best offensive players.
We'll continue with the receiving discussion since we were having that earlier. Who are your top 5 receivers this year?
This year? Well, I tell you right now, for me, obviously, it ain't Julio, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately,
yeah, it's not Julio. Excuse me. My top receiver for the year right now is Devontae Adams, obviously. Number 2 would be what I keep thinking Travis Kelce because I know his numbers are so good. Not Travis Kelce. Tyreek Hill. Number 2. Number 3. This one is the shocker. It's actually Stephon Diggs for what he's doing up there in Buffalo.
I agree.
Oh man, number 4 and 5. Like you can go either way, but I'll go DeAndre Hopkins. Getting accounted with the new system over there in Arizona, him and Kyler Murray are going to be dangerous. But this is not one of his better years.
No, not at all.
So you just say that, and I would say number 5 will be Calvin Ridley.
Oh, really, Calvin Ridley? Going with the homer pick, I see.
Yeah, I go with Calvin Ridley just due to him out of all top 5, no run game.
Yeah.
No run game. Absolutely no run game. And this is coming from someone who watches every Sunday. No run game. So,
Don't remember
and
me like this. I had
you
Todd
have
Gurley.
also you have Dirk Cutter as your OC. So you ain't
God.
gonna get the opportunities that you want, that you need. Okay.
Mm.
So, and your partner in crime, Julio, has been hampered a good little bit. So the fact is, with all that working against you, and you're still able to put up Pro Bowl numbers at the rate that he was, and mind you, Calvin really got dinged up. He was out for one game. So, with all that being said, Calvin really, yeah, I said definitely top five. I think if, say, you had a running game that could take some pressure off him a little bit,
Right.
I think he could probably slot up maybe one slot. But no, outside that, I think number five is the highest I could ever
To be
put
fair
him.
to the run game, it's hard to have a run game when you don't run.
Well, my list would probably be similar.
Mm-hmm.
Be Devontae Adams,
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek Hill,
Yep.
um, I would put DK Metcalf.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
I would put him in number 3
Yep.
because of he's a big dude.
Yeah.
Like he is a big but his only downside last season was the fact that his route running was terrible.
Yeah,
Like
his route running is-
he was literally just a go. He was just a straight downfield guy. But he's actually gotten better at his route running this year, which is why he's gotten more opportunities.
Right.
Number four would I see this is where it gets tough. At 4 and 5, like Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Four and-
So
4 and 5, I would give it to DeAndre Hopkins, but I just feel like he hasn't gotten. Well, DeAndre Hopkins and Stephon Diggs both haven't gotten the amount of touchdowns that you would expect. From
sure.
a number one.
That's
receiver.
not their fault though. If they're not.
Yeah,
getting
that's what I'm saying.
targeted, you know
That's
what
what I'm saying. I mean, I'd probably have to put Calvin Ridley
I mean?
at number 4,
Mhm.
just for the fact that he's gotten. I mean, he's gotten those numbers. Like I said, like Terry said, in the system that we're playing in, where the guy across from you is getting
Just
banged
dying
up.
every other week.
He's literally dying every other week, and on top of the fact that I mean, you can call it what it is. You got an aging Matt Ryan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Matt Ryan has declined over the years, so getting him the football has been more of an adjustment on the receiver than Matt accurately throwing the football. So
Right.
he's had to. I would say he'd probably had to work for more of those yards, for more of those catches than probably anybody that's above him per se.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all know Devontae Adams, he can get open. We all know Tyreek Hill, like nobody can catch the man.
Mm-hmm.
And also look at who's all throwing the ball to them. You got Aaron Rodgers, you got
Mahomes.
Mahomes. So, and
Who's your number 5?
Yeah. Who's your 5?
oh jeez. Oh, I probably have to give it to damn.
Man, thinking hard.
Someone didn't do their homework.
I mean, I did do my home, but the fact is, it's really difficult with the amount of receivers.
Yeah.
They are jumbled up at
They
that
are.
bottom spot. They really are.
I mean,
Like-
I'd probably have to. I'd have to put Devontae Adams, given the fact that
Devontae Adams is number 1, bro.
I mean,
number
I
one.
mean DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay.
But say like, damn, he that
Yeah,
good. He
I'm
on
like,
there twice.
He went twice.
DeAndre Hopkins, because I think he finally got. I mean, he was in a good position where he was in Houston, but I think he got traded because their head coach / general manager is literally stupid.
Yeah. Bill
So,
O'Brien. Man, that man
yeah,
literally set that franchise back 5 years.
Yeah, he literally did. But yep, that would be my top 5.
So-
As difficult as it is, basically the same as Terry's,
Yeah.
but Just adding,
reordered.
taking Calvin Italy, putting him at 4.
I think so. For me, in order,
And
I have
Metcalf.
Devontae Adams number 1, Tyreek Hill
Sure.
number 2. I actually have DK Metcalf at number 3. I think the way he's
Okay.
been playing this year.
Fair.
DeAndre Hopkins is number 4 for me. I think he's still. I mean, the touchdowns aren't there, but he's getting the heavy.
Give him
workload,
next year.
Right.
Give him one more year.
Give him another
No.
year. Let him get that synergy with Kyler Murray. I think he'll get more red
Correct.
zone targets. And then Stephon Diggs. I can't ignore Stephon Diggs.
Sure.
100 catches. Right.
No.
Only receiver in Buffalo.
Exactly. Yeah.
The only receiver in Buffalo.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fair. I can't argue with that because,
Right.
like you said, it's also considering Calvin Ridley, even though he doesn't have Julio, he still has Russell Gage, who's been good. You still have Hayden Hurst.
Right.
You still have Matt Ryan. He can still throw the ball.
Right.
Versus Josh Allen, he's coming up. And the Stephon Diggs, as far as like switching from being, how many years was he with Kirk Cousins? 3? About 3 years?
3 years, and then he had like another year with another.
Yeah, so going from that and like overnight, the fact that it's changing, that's why I give props to Diggs and DeAndre Hopkins. You spent the last 3 seasons with these other quarterbacks up and coming, right? And then you flipped the script in one season and you're still putting up those kind of yards. I mean, you got to give props for that.
Yeah, I agree.
So I really can't argue with that. Yeah. Now, I do say it sucks because, like I said, like you were talking about Keenan Allen, right? Mm-hmm. He's still won the season league, but it's just that, man, I don't think it's him. I don't think it's him.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's really not him.
Give us Keenan Allen. We'll show you.
Now, Terry McLaurin.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Give him a non-dysfunctional organization. He's gonna be up there. He's gonna be up there. Amari Cooper is overpaid.
Very overpaid.
Crocodile Orange.
DJ Moore, I feel bad because I think he's a decent receiver. Just Carolina is not a place where you go to be a receiver. So
nope, not when you got C-Mac.
No. Now we got see exactly. Man, stealing my touches.
Allen Robinson's been under the radar too in Chicago.
But he's not, I mean, who's their quarterback?
That gives him more props.
Yeah,
the fact is that you had Mitch Trubisky for half the season,
and then now Nick Foles, a shell of
Nick
Foles.
And then Chicago ain't never been a place that likes to put the ball in the air like that.
Nope.
They never been like that.
They've always
he's
been
doing that.
First team.
No, they always run first. Always. So that's honorable mention right there.
I gotta give some love to Will Fuller before the.
That man needs to stop taking and popping whatever he did, man.
Yo, like he eating beans.
Oh man,
AJ Brown deserves a honorable mention.
Yeah, I give him that.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody gonna say nothing about Travis Kelce.
But he's the thing is, the tight end position is so thin.
Terrible.
Now.
Yeah.
It's like
not
Travis Kelce, and then who you got? You know what I mean? Like, can you?
Mark Andrews.
Too inconsistent, bro.
Yeah, he's way too.
I mean, this season. But if we talking about last season, Mark Andrews.
He had a good run last year, but if you go look at his stats last year,
but it was like he didn't even have like most of his targets were literally like 5-yard reception touchdowns.
That is true.
Like he was mainly used in the red zone.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you're like so you can throw in Kyle Rudolph in that discussion.
Yeah,
so you know what I'm saying? It's like Travis Kelce and then any other tight end worth a damn has been.
It was like if this was last year, it'd have been Travis Kelce, George Kittle, and Mark Andrews.
Yeah, George Kittle's been hurt. Otherwise, he would be mentioned. Jonnu Smith has been okay in Tennessee, but he's not really a sexy name.
Sure.
There's like nobody else, man.
There's no other tight end.
Yeah, as far as tight ends this year was pretty dry. Oh goodness. Yeah, I mean, in Las Vegas, he started out hot.
Yeah, Darren Waller.
And then he cooled off. He cooled off a ton.
Yeah.
I'd throw his name in there though, still, just because it's so thin.
And I guess after that you could say Jared Cook for New Orleans, but even that.
Henry from San Diego too, but it's just
happy that he stayed alive this year.
Right,
He's always hurt.
Didn't he say he was contemplating retirement?
He did.
Yeah. Gesicki in Miami has been good lately, but all year he's kind of everywhere to be found.
I mean, because they didn't have Tua as quarterback.
Nice. But you can't really name any tight ends.
So, running backs.
Running backs.
We already know Derrick Henry.
What's your list? Go ahead, Dad. You go ahead.
Okay.
Goddamn, you already know Derrick Henry.
Big Dick Henry.
Big Dick Henry.
His dick is huge.
It's Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook.
1 and 2 is just universal.
Is at the top. I would probably say Nick Chubb at number 3. As far as I feel like he doesn't get the usage that he needs to get in Cleveland, because like we discussed earlier, Cleveland Brown, like, dudes throwing the ball too much to have one of the best tandems in the league for running back. Yeah. Like, Nick Chubb needs to be getting more touches because he's already shown you that he can be he could be a 1,000-yard rusher easily.
Yeah, easy.
No, sure.
He can easily be a 1,000. But everybody wants to see Baker Mayfield slinging all across the yard.
He will be a 1,000-yard rusher this year.
Yeah. He's going to be 1,000 yards. Yeah.
Right. So I would say Nick Chubb under the radar. I haven't really seen much. I haven't watched Jacksonville, so I can't really say much about James Robinson.
He's just an outstanding rookie, but I don't think he's a top 5 running back this year. Personally.
Yeah.
Dad, I told you to have your list ready.
My list was ready.
My list ready, man. Go.
Me and Terry just in here like, I got my list. Let's go.
Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb. I'm gonna outside of him being hurt this year, because I have the list of the people that I want, but they've just been hurt, which would have been obviously C-Mac.
Right,
he missed like 6 games.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say Ronald Jones in Tampa.
Really?
I mean, as bad as it is, because he made a late come up because everybody was so focused on, Brady throwing it to Gronk and throwing it to Mike Evans, and throwing it, like, nobody really paid attention to the fact that
he
Ronald
was
Jones is, and the fact that they had the running back from Jacksonville.
Fournette.
What's his name? Yeah, they had Fournette. So he managed to beat out Fournette.
And a lot of people don't realize this. They have LeSean McCoy too.
And LeSean McCoy.
Man, he just
old as fuck.
He just there. And
who's your number 5?
I'll probably put Aaron Jones in there.
Okay, I was gonna say you're gonna have all these motherfuckers.
Aaron Jones, I would list him higher if the fact that, like, they haven't been winning the games that they would be, because obviously Devontae Adams is that guy.
But that's not his fault, though.
I don't think
that's not his fault. Yeah. Wait, it's not his fault. He's that guy.
Not his fault. I mean, he do. Okay. So our list is going to be similar, but no, there's a lot of differences. Obviously, Derrick Henry is number 1. Yep. Number 2 should be Alvin Kamara. I'm sorry, because again, he when he was out the backfield, he led. You guys got to remember, he led the league in yards from scrimmage for like half the season. Yeah. He can still do that. Like, there's nothing saying he can't do it. It's just if they can't get the ball to him, then that's just what it is. So you got Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, you got Aaron Jones, because Aaron Jones, I mean, it's like the last running back, Eddie Lacy in Green Bay. I mean, this is what he's giving them right now. He's giving
Cheeseburger Eddie? Oh, shit.
Cheeseburger Eddie.
Yeah, he's giving us some version of that. But no, like right now, Aaron Jones looks to be the true, because he can break off and
he's a true workhorse
on the field. Yeah. And I know, so I say he was there like, oh, he's better than Dalvin. You could flip him and Dalvin Cook, but Dalvin Cook is number 4 for me. I mean, outside, I remember Dalvin Cook had that injury early in the season, right? Outside of that, like I say again, he can catch the ball at the backfield, he can accelerate, he does everything. Like, that's the only thing I take away from Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry, he's a force from behind the line of scrimmage, but do you trust him to be like that kind of route runner, like Kamara, run them wheel routes? Not so much. He can do it,
but he's so dominant running the ball.
Exactly. Yeah, he stick to his gun. So like, I don't take that away from anything. But the fact that these guys are nowhere going to be the force out the backfield like Derrick Henry. They just don't have the size. Period. Right?
I mean, yeah, because all these guys are more. All those guys are more literally like scat backs. Like they can catch the ball out the backfield. Literally, Derrick Henry is some old school football.
But he was a longer career though. Exactly.
But the thing is, he can catch the ball too.
Yeah, Derrick Henry can catch the ball too, but that's just not how they. That's just not how they play. Like, yo, if you got this man in the backfield and no team can stop you, yo, you run it down the throat.
That's the thing, though. Like the other running backs mentioned, right? You got Kamara, you got Chubb. Those guys run out of the backfield. They run routes. Henry is like traditionally running backs are just dump offs. Like, okay, they're just standing there. Like, hey,
correct. Yeah. They're gonna be dumb, but these are everyone outside of Derrick Henry. They can be route runners, right?
Exactly.
The reason why I say I would still now Derrick Henry might not be the best running back say next year, and just the reason being is because his body's gonna wear down far quicker than the rest of these guys.
For sure.
Like absolutely, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe like 2 years left. Yeah,
exactly. At tops, at his peak, right?
But if any out of all those running backs, if anybody's body were to be able to sustain that amount, it would be him. You're not gonna be able to line, and then second would be Dalvin Cook. You're not, but putting what's New Orleans running back?
Kamara.
And putting Kamara behind a line and just telling him, yo, just run it like 25, 30 touches again. No, he's going to die.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that kind of size.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that. And he's not. But
it's longevity.
Right.
Yeah, he's not built like that. So they're not going to use him like that.
Correct. No, but I'm saying, but the fact is Derrick Henry is built the way he is.
Right.
Built different.
It's historically speaking. Yeah. That play style that he has, you're getting 5 years.
Yeah.
Hops.
Yeah.
So he's getting his money's worth right now. But I'm saying right now, if like I said, from a franchise standpoint, I wouldn't want that ground and pound, unfortunately. Even though I we grew up off that. But I wouldn't want that because I know he's going to be like Michael Turner all over again. He's going to slow down eventually. And the fact that he can't run the routes on the backfield, guess what? The Tennessee is going to be drafting another running back 2 years from now.
Out of Alabama.
Possibly do that. Out of Alabama.
The same thing that happened to AP, basically. Adrian Peterson.
Number 5 could be a toss-up. I was going to do Ezekiel Elliott from how he was at the beginning of the year.
He's been hurt,
but definitely after Dak went down, I mean, Zeke is still decent, but you could definitely tell he's lost a step. It just doesn't have that dynamic.
And the fact that like nobody respects the passing game for Dallas. So everybody's stacking the box, and it just feels bad because CeeDee Lamb is a receiver.
Yeah.
He's a good receiver. So, but nobody expects fucking Red Rocket to go out there and literally throw the ball.
That man's a shell of his former self. He's
by far. Nobody expects him to go out there and throw.
I would say number 5 was going to be Kenyon Drake.
Kenyon Drake. Oh, that's
Kenyon Drake out of Arizona. I mean, he's gotten his time to shine.
Yeah,
he's getting his time to shine, and he's taking advantage of it. But yeah, that's my 5. That's my 5.
The theme is just getting out of Miami. Ryan Tannehill.
It looks
it does. It honestly is. Like everybody gets out of Miami, gets out of getting away from Adam Gase.
Oh my God, bro. All right, my 5, Derrick Henry, number 1. Dalvin Cook, I have as number 2, just because he's so dominant. Like, you look at Minnesota's games, the reason they can do anything at all is because of Dalvin Cook. So, I have him number 2. I actually have Aaron Jones at number 3. I think.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers' revival is thanks to Aaron Jones, if we're all being completely honest.
You're right, because they never had a run game since Eddie Lacy.
Yeah, exactly. And Eddie Lacy only lasted 1 year before he ate himself out of the
literally
league.
1 year.
You know what I mean?
I think he gave him a year and a half. Yeah, but yeah.
Pretty much.
This man was addicted to eating,
bro. My man had a great rookie year and then went to McDonald's and lived there. Like, come on, bro. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I actually have Kamara at number 4, and for reasons Terry stated, I just think you can't keep him out of the top 5 just because he's so impactful. And then 5 for me is Nick Chubb. I think we talked about it earlier.
Yeah,
he needs more touches. Him and Kareem Hunt. Cleveland needs to run if they want to have any sort of chance in the playoffs. They need Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt to touch the ball, and there's just no way around that.
Yeah,
but I think our lists are all pretty similar.
They're very similar. Yeah. Outside of Ronald Jones.
Yeah, Ronald Jones. Where'd that go from?
Ronald Jones, man.
Dude, Dad was on ESPN stat check like, oh my god. All right, so
Ronald Jones.
Ronald McDonald. Top 5 QBs. Terry, I'll give you the first. Go ahead.
Oh, top 5. I mean, that's gonna be pretty easy. Top 5.
I think so too.
It's gonna be, but
this year,
I still think the top quarterback is going to be Aaron Rodgers for this year. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, one seems pretty.
I was at Deshaun Watson for a good little bit, but just I can't follow through. Him and Russell Wilson on my list have dropped as the season went on. Mm-hmm. A lot of it not due to their fault, but it is what it is. Right. Number 3. I always give this guy so much shit. I put Jared Goff number 3.
Really?
Yes. I got some reasons on that, but I think number 3 would be Jared Goff. Number 4 would be Josh Allen, and then number 5 it was Kirk Cousins because he was turning it around. He was, but number 5 is going to be Russell Wilson. So
Terry throwing curveballs at us right now.
Yeah, but now, the reason why I said Jared Goff is because he actually
Jared Goff
for like a 6-game stretch, he actually was playing like the 100 million. What was his contract? 130 million, something like that.
5 years, 130 million.
He was actually dealing. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I give this dude a lot of shit, but he was dealing for a good bit for this season. Man, we're talking this season. Actually was shot, and during the time they won like I think 5 of their 6 games.
Yeah.
So I'll give props to where it's at, and mind you, I think during that time, who did they play? Oh my goodness, I think one of those games was against Tampa. Oh, I gotta go back and look over, but no, actually, Jared Goff has gotten better from last year. Now, mind you, he got Robert Woods still, he got Cooper Kupp still. So he still has his supporting cast, but you can definitely tell they're actually getting a lot more comfortable with him, and his confidence is picking up. But I do think it's because they know if they slip up, you got the number 1, number 2 defense sitting behind you. You get what I'm saying? You're going to get an opportunity. So I think that's taken off the stress where, like say, last season, where they knew, damn, if we don't score, that's 3 points to the other team at minimum that they're going to get. So that's why I put him up there. But I give him a lot of shit. But he's actually shocked me this year.
My only issue with the Jared Goff mention is he just really hasn't produced. It's hard to give, like, you know what I mean? But I know what you're saying. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's on the stat sheets that you're not going to see. You're not going to see that in the stat sheet. So, yeah, he's been a great game manager for them. I think their running game has really benefited them. And obviously their defense, but their running game has kind of found its way. And I feel like that's a big reason they've been doing
it's like when they had Todd Gurley in his prime. You know what I'm saying? That takes a hell of a lot of pressure off of you. Dump that baby, and he got that back.
Right.
He got that back. And so that's what, to me, is what ascended him a good bit. Because at the same time, mind you, to be a great quarterback, yes, he's not going to flash you like a Mahomes, but at the same time, if he has to drive you, he will do it.
Right.
He will do it. It won't be the sexiest. It ain't I don't think he had an ESPN top 10 play in 3 seasons. I don't think he's had one.
Nope.
But damn it, you know what? He's 9-4. He's leading the NFC West.
Hey.
That which is the toughest division in football.
I agree. You got to give the credit.
Yeah. And that's it. Not taking anything but Pat Mahomes. But let's be honest, though. The AFC West. Come on now.
It's a lot recently. Yeah.
But so that means for him, he got to show out a little bit more, which he has. So that's why I still has him as my number 1.
Okay, so you got Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes. Who was your number 3?
Number 3 was Jared Goff.
And then 4 was Russell.
No, Russell Wilson. Excuse me. Russell Wilson was my number 5. Actually.
Okay. Who was your 4?
Number 4 is excuse me. Number 3 was Josh Allen. Number 4 was Jared Goff. Flip those two. I'm sorry. Flip those two.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to give everybody an idea because we were just talking about Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Josh Allen is definitely a top 5 quarterback this season. Yeah.
I'll go with my list now. Number 1 for me is Aaron Rodgers. 2 is Pat Mahomes. I think we've all kind of like flip flop with those two.
1 and 2. Yeah.
I can't take away from Deshaun Watson this year. He's going to be in my number 3. Just like even though Houston sucks, it's hard to ignore the production he's had and the consistency he's had all year, and losing D-Hop, and losing any form of running back he had, and he's still producing. I can't take that away from him. I think Russell Wilson is number 4 for me, just because even though he's kind of fell off lately, that early season run is too good not to keep in mind when you.
It was MVP run,
right?
For sure.
It's an MVP run. And then 5 for me, I'm probably gonna go out of left field too. I have Ryan Tannehill. His production. I mean, it was between Tannehill and Josh Allen for me for the number 5 spot.
Fair enough.
But I think Tannehill, man, his numbers just look better. It's just.
I will give him more.
Yeah.
Given he has
more opportunities.
Look what he doesn't have. Look what he doesn't have.
Right. Exactly. I agree. I agree.
No.
He's definitely has Big Dick Henry behind him, so it's.
Yeah, that's true.
That's pretty gay, by the way.
No homo.
All right, Dave, go ahead.
All right, so everybody's number 1, number 2 is about the same.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes. My number 3 is going to be this is gonna be out here. My number 3 is probably gonna be Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
From what he's done in Buffalo. I mean, even last year, obviously him being a rookie in his development this year, he's taken Buffalo to the next level this year. Could potentially win that division and host their second playoff game. Host their first playoff game in how many years?
2 decades.
2 decades.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and he's carried that team.
Mm-hmm.
My number 4 is going to be Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Russell Wilson accounts for 95% of the offense on that team. So, I mean, you got to give credit for what credit's due. If Russell Wilson goes down, that team is garbage.
Yeah.
Number 5, this was kind of difficult for me. I'm gonna go with Baker Mayfield.
Really?
Baker Mayfield with Cleveland. Number 5. Baker Mayfield has developed a lot since last year. I remember watching games in Cleveland. Literally, Baker got the ball and he looked so confused as where he was gonna go with it. He's calmed down. He's gotten a better offensive coordinator and a better head coach.
Mm-hmm.
So he's actually been a lot more careful with the ball. I mean, 23 TDs to 8 picks. Yep. Like he's been a lot better with taking care of the football this year than this time last year.
Sure.
And he's doing it. I mean, they have the running game behind them, but obviously they want Baker Mayfield to sling it over the yard, and that's what he's doing.
You would take Baker Mayfield over Kyler Murray?
That, like I said, it was those two. That's my number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was between him or Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray has shown that like Arizona as a team is ahead of schedule with their rebuild. They're like literally a year and a half, especially not having any preseason.
Yeah.
To be able to actually see how well he has developed on the offseason.
Yeah.
It's between him. It's between Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield, and I give Baker Mayfield obviously because he's got drafted. He's been the guy in Cleveland, and Kyler Murray. Everybody had their question about, is he able to play quarterback, or can he even play quarterback due to his size or whatever? And I mean, you give him the weapons.
I mean, to be fair, the criticism was valid. I mean, they did the same thing with Johnny Manziel.
It was.
You know what I mean?
Coming off that, Cleveland.
Yeah.
Here's some honorable mentions just due to how the season's panned out.
Yeah.
Look how Derek Carr started.
Yeah.
And look how he's ending. It's not that great. Tom Brady. He's not having he's had a better season this year than he did last year. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I mean, he has better weapons too. We'll give him
that helps. Big Ben, he's having an okay year. Nothing.
The only thing that scares me about Derek Carr is his ball security. It's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It is terrible.
Bro, this man fumbled 4 times against us.
Oh shit. And then the one guy who had a decent season quietly was Drew Brees.
Yeah. But he's been hurt. That's the problem.
Yeah, he got hurt, but look at him. He had 18 touchdowns, 3 picks.
Mm-hmm.
Like Drew Brees has always been an efficient.
But how much of that has been just fucking dumping off to Kamara?
Most of it was, though.
You know what I'm saying? And then them do the work. Same thing with
Dink and dunk get you down the field. They said the same thing about Tom Brady for so long. Dink and dunk, but if it works,
it works. It works. But I mean that's just still a whole nother level. They have Kamara, Michael Thomas, the Slant Master, Colston, Brandon Cooks.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, I mean, Big Ben has been having a Big Ben year. I think that's just like standard.
Yeah, that's standard.
Yeah,
it's just like he has one of those games where he just.
Yeah. Again, it's glitchy, it's boring. It's just he'll get down the field. He won't make the mistakes, but just get it done. And then Lamar Jackson probably had the biggest fallout out of all those. Those numbers are not MVP. 18.
He only has 7 picks. That's kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, but look at his rushing stats, and it's like, oh, there they are.
His rushing stats are a running back's rushing stats.
The 28 sacks is kind of high for someone that runs as much as he does.
Yeah.
Jeez, Pep.
Ooh, look at Carson Wentz, bro. Oh, God. 16.
Oh, Russell Wilson's been sacked 40 times?
Yeah, it was the most in the league, bro.
Yes.
Well, second most in the league. Carson Wentz.
And when you say sack, we're not talking like your traditional NFL.
Yeah.
Bull roach. No, it's like basically he scrambled back there. They tripped him up by his shoelaces, or stuff like that. So if you got sacked, you're not living in this season.
These are facts.
Yo, no wonder Carson Wentz is playing the way he is. Man's been sacked 50 times. You look at that. Yeah, I'd be scared throwing the football too.
He going through what Aaron Rodgers went in Green Bay.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers didn't have anything wrong with his extremity. It was mainly his damn collarbone. His collarbone got snapped twice.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we'll move on to the final segment. How is your team doing? All right, I don't even want to talk about it. We have Cam Newton. I think that says everything. And we lost half of our defense. So the season was a wash from the beginning, from what I saw. So my team's not doing that great. I'm hoping we get an actual quarterback that can throw the ball next year. That's my only wish. And I also wish that Damian Harris can get the ball a little bit more. He's actually been our best running back since Stevan Ridley that one year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ridley.
Yeah, but he had that 1 year and that was it. So I think my wish list for New England, because we already know the season has been horrible. I mean, I don't want to talk about if Miami loses 1 out of we're not gonna make the playoffs. Like just stop it right now. And I want a quarterback. I don't know who's available. We're not gonna get Trevor Lawrence. He's going to the Jets.
Yep, he's out of here.
Shit, I'll take Carson Wentz. I don't know, man. anybody but Cam, because Cam Newton got 11 rushing touchdowns. Like as soon as we get within 5 yards, it's like, oh my god, my turn. I'm like, man, we got Damian Harris out here. You know how many touchdowns we lost out on because of him? Shit, man.
That's true.
Right.
And everyone knew, like I said, given that it's a no risk, you guys picked him up for 1 year, and you can
minimum.
So it was a good move for New England. It was a steal. So but given the fact that you guys are 6-7, you guys still are in playoff contention.
Right.
If you guys were to grab a quarterback, if anything, if like a Trey Lance falls, he seems like someone that might fall to New England, which I would hate, but yeah.
I mean, I don't watch enough college football to know anybody coming in other than Trevor Lawrence.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. He's from the North Dakota State.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't lost a game. Has like some stupid, crazy touchdown numbers. But at the same time, a lot of the best quarterbacks didn't necessarily come from big schools. Yeah. So I mean, there's always that. But he's smart with the ball and whatnot. So he might fall just due to the fact that as far as name recognition, he's not going to be the Trevor Lawrence or the Justin Fields. But he is someone that could definitely slide, because I wouldn't use a top 10 pick on him for sure.
Oh, no.
But if he were to fall late in the first, early second, he's definitely worth the look.
Yeah, New England's picking in the mid. I mean, between 10 and 16, somewhere between there. So
yeah, somewhere around there.
Could happen. What about you guys? How are the Falcons doing? Let us hear it. This is event season.
The
Don't
fact that
deviate.
with the Falcons, this was the do or
Uh,
die year for the Falcons, given that coming off of 2016, and we started off the same way we started off last year. But what made it worse from last year compared to this year, compared to last year, was the fact the fashion you lost in it. Okay, if you just got beat, you get beat. No one's gonna really lose sleep over it. But if you got beat after leading the game for as long as you have,
Right.
it's a testament. You know what I'm saying? It's a testament. And this has been since the Super Bowl. This has been Dan Quinn's forte. So a lot of people went to this season obviously saying, "Hey, if we don't make the playoffs, Dan Quinn is gone."
Mm-hmm.
But if we start off even worse than that, he's definitely gone. But at the same time, we know Arthur Blank. He's a loyal guy. He wants stability in the front office, which everyone wants that as well. But the fact that he pulled the trigger was, you wouldn't say shocking, but you definitely was surprised because he did step out of his box to do that. And not only that, but doing the GM at the same time, everyone's like, okay, now he ain't playing games anymore.
Right.
So with that happening, and you bring it in, now obviously you win a couple of games, but let's be honest, we won games against teams that were far winnable. You're supposed to win some of those games if you look at roster to roster. So we didn't really shock anyone with that. And then now, like I said, you lose to the Saints twice. And then your offensive problems come up. See, the reason why they didn't fire not Derek Quinn, but Dirk Cutter. The reason why they fired him is because, the other quarterback coaches, people we have on staff, are too inexperienced. So we just need someone to call the plays. So I'm okay with that. But at the end of the year, we know he's gone. So this year, it's a wash. I'm not upset now that we do know that we're bringing in a new head coach. And I think a lot of fans are like that. If like you take fans in Detroit, if you know your team is making a change, and we're talking a big change, GM, head coach, offensive coordinator, possibly defensive coordinator, you know what? People say, you know what? Hey, let's just give them a good draft pick while we're at it.
Right.
But now the conversations have gone even further from just head coach and GM for us. Is that now we're talking about our quarterback, we're talking about our top receiver. We lost on one of our number one draft picks in Tack. So we're going to be in a rebuilding phase, but not a ground up rebuilding phase, right? We're not going to go that far because you still do have a ton of talent on both sides of the ball. It's just going to be, can we get a cast in here that knows how to manage it, no nonsense, and most importantly, play to our strengths.
Right.
That's something that Dan Quinn just couldn't figure out. So at this point now, I do want to see what some of the young guys are doing. And like I said, from what we've seen so far, Foyer balling out, Deion Jones coming into form, AJ Terrell. It seems like we're seeing the end of Rico. But we've had some defensive guys come out and play. So that's good to see. And on the offensive side, Caleb McGarry, those two second-year linemen, they're performing damn good. I mean, if you look at this grade they get every week, top in the league.
Right.
I can't get mad at that. It's going to suck that we're going to have to get a new center because Alex Mack, I think his contract's up at the end of the year.
Well, I think because we drafted a center. That dude Hennessy. Yeah, Hennessy. He's playing left guard right now because of
Carpenter.
Yeah, Carpenter.
Carpenter didn't do all that bad. Last year he was trash. But this year he's coming to play. So right now, we just gotta either center or depth left guard. I know left guard. We need a draft pick for that. But other than that, for this wish list, I just want us. I like Edo Smith. I like Quadri Ollison, but we just need a bell cow type running back that we can just rely on. We don't have to be a Dalvin Cook. It don't need to be a Derrick Henry. It just needs someone that we know can hit the hole, and we don't ever have to worry about it if it's third down in inches and we get pushed back 3 yards.
Right.
If we can get that, we can hold on to Matt Ryan. But if we don't get another running back that can really tote the rock a little bit, we're going to have to explore quarterbacks because we can't get rid of Matt Ryan for 2 years. We just can't. Yeah. It's too big of a hit. But this year it is what it is. What we're 4-9 and we played Tampa
twice.
Can we pick up 7? Sure, maybe.
We played Tampa twice and we played Kansas City.
I mean, if we're being honest,
it's one of those things where Atlanta. Everybody wanted us to. If we're gonna be bad, let's just be bad. Like honestly, the past 2 years, that we've come back. Like even last season when we won off 6 straight, I was like, why not just fuck lose out, get like a top fucking 5 draft pick. Like had we had lost that game to Tampa, we would have had pick number 7. But because we won, we dropped down to like pick number 14.
Up there, 14, 12,
Yeah,
14. Yep,
12,
yep.
14. I was like, man, can we do that?
But
Like,
at least we got a good pick out of it. At least we got a good pick out of it.
yeah, but also, and that also goes to the pick that we could like the picks that we've gotten. I feel like we've gotten better picks on offense than we have on
Defense.
As
Yes.
far as our first round picks, our first tack bust. Vic Beasley bust.
Plus.
Like outside of like, hey, but the offensive players we got, Calvin Ridley, he's gonna be a pro hit. Our 2 offensive linemen hits.
Yep.
Like I mean, all of our defensive players have been later draft picks. Debo, wasn't he went like a third round pick? He was a second round pick.
Walker, 4th round pick. Makeel Walker, 4th round pick. Foye, 6th round pick. So we're trash in the first round defensive picks. I don't know what's the problem.
I don't know what it is with evaluating talent. I mean, look at the picks that we could have gotten. T.J. Watt.
That's true.
Like we could have gotten a lot of these players that, I mean, that are out there balling on defense. But another thing about it is that Dan Quinn didn't want to play to the strengths of our players. He came from Seattle and literally just bought his philosophy here and was basically like, all right, we're gonna run this scheme like it or hate it. But the thing about it is the talent that they had up in Seattle on defense compared to the talent that we had down here was night and day. The only reason that worked as effectively as it did is because you had the players to actually execute. You had the talented players to be able to execute. We didn't have that. And Dan Quinn was so stuck in his ways of literally just forcing to make it work. Oh yeah, another first round pick. Who's the cornerback that we drafted?
AJ Terrell?
No, the other one.
We haven't drafted another first round cornerback.
The other one.
Desmond Trufant?
Isaiah Oliver.
Oh, he was 2nd round.
Oh, trash. But
Trash.
like that's the thing though, is that I feel like a lot of the people that we get on our coaching staff just are against adjustments. Like they're against adjusting mid game, especially like. If you know, like I watch watching this every Sunday, watching just Dan Quinn just sitting in a base defense, not making any adjustments, not trying to look confusing at all, like, and you wonder why teams just pick us apart. Like the game that we played against Houston last year, Deshaun Watson literally dissected the Falcons defense in a press conference after the game. He literally sat there and literally said what we were going to do before the ball got snapped. And that's terrible. For a quarterback to be able to dissect your defense, especially if you're not executing well, if your quarterback's able to dissect your defense before the snap of the ball, something needs, and you're refusing to change it after you see it happening over and over. Like, mind you, yeah, players have to get out there and execute. Yeah, but if you see the players are struggling in the position that they're in, you need to switch it up and switch what you're doing. Like, you can't just sit out there and be like, oh, make this tackle, or oh, make this tackle. But if they're running plays against you, because they know that you're constantly doing the same thing over and over, you might want to kind of switch what you're doing and maybe switch up the approach that you have so you're not being predictable. That goes the same thing on offense. Dirk Cutter doesn't want to change anything for the life of him. There's no reason on 3rd and 3 we have 3 receivers going deep.
Well, here's the knock with Dan Quinn that was touched on. The philosophy he brought over from Seattle, the reason why it worked was obviously because they had a stacked roster. His philosophy that he brought over from Seattle, it worked perfectly because, again, when you have Cliff Averill, you have the Legion of Boom, you have KJ Wright, you have those type of guys, and don't mind the 4 down linemen. His offense was always rush 4 because guess what?
They could get linebackers
they get pressure with 4, and he knows basically they had like 3 Debos as linebackers, so they could cover anyone out the backfield if they would have happened. The issue is that what Dan Quinn has never done before is he's never had to come over with a defense where you have some strengths, you have some weaknesses, but he's never been in a situation where he had a weakness on the lineman. So the fact that he never fixed that, which that's the first thing you're supposed to fix. You go from front to back. You fix the front, the back can always pick up the slack. If you have an elite and you're expecting coverage sacks, you got to be elite on one either side. But when you have a defense where you're elite from top to bottom, you can do whatever. You don't have to make any adjustments, right? You don't have to make adjustments. But down here, he had to. He was never the one to blitz. Now, you shouldn't blitz every play. This ain't Chicago. But you don't blitz every play, but you do have to mix it in there. And what's sad was that, the only time we ever gotten pressure on people is that we had to bring 5 or 6. And if you don't get there, guess what? That running back that came uncovered, he's 20 yards down the field, waiting in the end zone for you. Yeah, wide open. So at the end of the day, here's the thing. It's okay if your defense is not the best. And that means your offense has to make up for it. This is how the Saints survived for so long with Drew Brees. Is that, yes, their defense was historically trash for many seasons at a time. But guess what? They knew they had an offense that could go down there and get you 30-plus points every game in a blink of an eye. We used to have that. Now that we have Dirk Cutter, and mind you, with Dirk Cutter, he was successful because he relies on a solid run game. We never addressed that. Okay, we thought Todd Gurley was going to be it, but we know he lost a step. Dirk Cutter was successful when Matt Ryan came here. Why? Because we had Michael Turner. Built the play action off of that, made it simple. But here's the thing. The NFL is different in 2020 than it was in 2008. We all seen that, right? It's a pass-happy league. It's dynamic offense. If you go back and watch highlights from the 2008 season across all NFL teams, the offenses look slower, right?
Minus the Patriots.
Yeah, minus the Patriots. That offense booming. They were booming. But at the same time, Dirk Cutter, he's 71 years old, right? Yeah. Old dude. Look at the rest of the offensive coordinators in the league right now. All of them average. These some young bucks there, right? They my age, right? So Dirk Cutter's, like I say again, he's had success, but he's definitely past his prime. And given that we brought him at this point now, but Falcon fans we're apologizing for Steve Sarkisian, because now I would have loved to have Steve Sarkisian over this. But now it's like now we get to clean house. Yeah, if we somehow snag up an Eric B. You can get yourself a fresh set on the GM side. I mean, right now, all of our money's on our offense. Yeah. Get our offense back elite. If our offense can score, again, 30-plus points a game, our defense can get away with it. Why? Because you have the other team on their heels, and they got to chuck it down the field and whatnot, and not sit there and just pick you apart. So if that's the case, play to your strengths. And the same thing, this goes to how the Saints right now are successful, right? They don't necessarily have that explosive offense anymore, but they can sit there, pick you apart, and then on their defensive side, the defense is stout on the front seven, not the back. Their secondary still suspect, but you know what I'm saying. But they get it's enough to keep them in the game. It's enough to keep them in the game. Our defense, when mind you, under Raheem Morris, our defense has played better, no question about that. But at the same time, it's still a reliance that our offense will be like, hey. We give up 3. You guys got to go down there and at least get 3.
I got a question for both of you, actually.
Go ahead.
So, do you think if Atlanta didn't have those historical, how do I put this nicely, games where they blew those leads against Chicago and Dallas, that your season would have turned out different? Because I think it would have.
If you take away those losses. If you take away, we're in the play. Like we're in the play. Like you take away, if you take away the games that we lost just due to either bad coaching, or just dumb stuff. With the really in the first half of the season, the games that we actually just got beat was Seattle and Green Bay.
Yeah.
Those are the only 2 games that we literally just got beat in every phase of the game. So you take that, we're like 7-2? Like no, because we should have beat Detroit.
Yeah.
We should have beat Chicago. We should have beaten Dallas.
Yeah.
We should have beaten. We should have beaten. We should have beat Carolina.
Because that was the game that Dan Quinn got fired after.
Yeah, that was After wasting Todd Gurley's only 100-yard rushing game.
That's what I mean.
You count those games, and then let's just add this last game, which with the Chargers, we're 8-5.
Yeah.
8-5. Yeah, Dan Quinn would have still been employed, and we'll be feeling good. But at the same time, we know that you still got. We'll finish 8-8 probably because you still got Tampa Bay twice and you got Kansas City. But at the end, his thing though, Dan Quinn probably still would have gotten fired just due to the fact that you will miss the playoffs. Yeah, you missed the playoffs, but he would have stayed the whole year.
Yeah.
You would have felt better. You would have felt better because it's just that. Oh, hey, at least there will be less questions surrounding the team than there is now. It would have been like, hey, you guys just need some more talent, stuff like that. Just get a fresh fix. But now the questions of you got any new quarterback, Julio got to go, da. So if he blew those leads,
I feel like blowing those, not even just record wise. I feel like it just ruined the entire confidence of the team.
How
do you know what I mean? Because everything was magnified and everybody was talking about it, and then that put like an underlying pressure on them even more so. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it doesn't hurt. It hurts more the fact that the first one that happened was a nationally televised game. Game of the week.
And y'all
against
3 touchdowns.
Boys. Oh my goodness. You can't dodge that. Yeah. Now, like I said, this was a 1:00 game. It was against the Jaguars. No one will talk about it, right? But the fact that this happened in the way that it happened, and it's on the most elementary play that you learn in Pee Wee ball.
Goddamn, fall on the fucking
ball. Just sit on the ball.
They said like a memo must have been sent out to the rest of the league. Make sure your players know how to play special teams on that play because you saw everyone's like, make sure, man, you do that. You don't want to goof all that. So I think that's one that magnified the most.
Yeah.
Just due to obviously the amount that I think that was the biggest comeback that was done against us this year. And then at the end of it, all you had to do was fall on the ball. Right. All the rest of them is that they had like a last minute drive. You know what I mean? Like Detroit and Chicago. And on top of that, Chicago, Detroit, they're all still in the playoff hunt. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. A lot of teams you lost to were still in the playoff hunt.
We're the only one that's mathematically eliminated.
Yeah, you guys are the only team in the league.
Well, no.
In the NFC.
In the NFC, yeah.
Yeah.
The Jets are obviously mathematically.
Yeah, Jets, Jaguars, Texans, Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you would have just lost those games, I just lost them outright. Just close game. They just edged you out a little bit. I think Dan Quinn would have lasted a little bit longer.
Probably lasted the year, I think.
If not last a year, if not, he would have definitely probably lasted up to the Saints game. Because as they say, if there's anything you do, just like any rival, just beat your rival. And the fact that we didn't beat our rivals, mind you, this is the first time either the Saints or Falcons swept the team in like 3 or 4 years. So it's always been splits.
Yeah.
So
I think the last time they got, I think the last sweep was
2016
with the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was the last time. Yep.
It's unfortunate.
We're
all sitting at the losers table.
We're sitting at the losers table, but it hurt more. It hurt more because also both of us have teams with you and the Celtics going to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then us with the Braves going to the. So we all got some L's over here.
World Series.
Should have been the World Series.
We're not going to talk about it. But it's okay. New season starting in basketball.
Either freshly. Fuck the NFL. We don't watch the NFL. All my homies hate the NFL.
It's full of COVID.
Either.
We want that bubble.
So I think that's a good way to end our very first podcast. Feel free to follow my boy Dez Mayhem XXVI. My boy Terry, even though he doesn't stream anymore. Raven. We need some more of that A-Peg.
I gotta get back into streaming. Yes, I do.
You should. We all should. We're probably gonna be streaming later. All right, guys. Thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you guys for participating.
No problem.
We'll see y'all next episode. Yes, sir.
You ready?
Later.